Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard, and I'm joined by Monica Padman.
Hi.
Today we have Cristin Milioti on.
She's a star.
She's a star. She's hyper talented. She's a force of nature.
She's been in everything.
Incredible career. Palm Springs, How I Met Your Mother, Black Mirror, Made for Love, The Resort, and her incredibly standout work on The Penguin, which we are here to talk at length about. She's so good on that. And we're going to announce our Armchair Anonymous prompts.
Okay, great.
Okay. So get out your pen and paper. Get ready to submit. Tell us about a crazy jury duty experience.
Oh, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah. My friend Tim Lovestead texted me and said, hey, I want to tell a jury story.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so we're going to have a friend on for that one. Tell us a crazy story about finding a foreign object in a patient's butt. You can be a nurse. You can be a doctor. You can be a...
Can you be a civilian?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Tell us about a crazy 4th of July disaster.
Hold on. The butt one, I bet we're going to get some moms.
Oh, it's kids putting items in their butt, maybe.
Just keep it, make sure you ask your kids permission, actually.
Don't.
But
Better. Just don't say their name.
Okay.
Tell us about a crazy 4th of July disaster. Tell us about a crazy sleepwalking experience. This is a part 2. We had a really exciting episode previously. Tell us a crazy cop story. Woo, woo, woo. Wild card. This is, everyone collects these.
Yeah, we love the wild card.
We love wild cards. So tell us a crazy wild card story. Without further ado, please enjoy Cristin Milioti. We are supported by
Domino's.
You'd be hard pressed to find 2 people that love Domino's more than you and I. It's an integral part of our friendship.
When we were just baby friends.
We discovered we both love Domino's and we ordered it with reckless abandon. If you haven't tried Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza yet, what are you waiting for? With a buttery flavored crust, melty cheese, and real Parmesan sprinkled on top, every bite is absolutely packed with flavor. Order one today at Domino's.com.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Want a coffee?
No, I've very caffeinated.
Caffeine to the hilt.
I'm caffeine to the hilt.
Nice.
What's your sweet spot of caffeine intake where it's it's productive, it's helpful, and then it's destructive? Do we know the cutoff?
I've yet to find it. I still, after all this time alive, haven't been able to find the line.
So you do go too far sometimes.
Oh, all the time.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I did it this morning.
You did?
Yeah.
And what was that intake?
Well, I had a canned latte from the hotel minibar.
Oh, great.
Because I don't live here.
Yeah.
And then I walked to Erewhon, which is, I'm like a moth to a flame, unfortunately, with that, because we don't have anything like that in New York.
Right.
And then I got a regular coffee.
I don't go there, but I did go in there one time because a friend of mine who's also sober was like, you got to go get this smoothie there. It's cocaine and it's not a
Which
relapse. I can't remember, but it was like a $21.
Bieber. Probably Bieber.
Yeah, they're all like that. You are aware that you're being actively bamboozled, but it's a little bit like I feel when I walk in there, I'm in agreement with it. Where I'm like,
Yes.
you're
Like a
bamboozling
casino.
me. It's a casino.
Yep.
It's a casino for health food where
Yeah.
you're like, you're going to give me a great juice. I know you're hosing me.
Yes, you're bending me over.
And I'm going to just buy it because I do want the taste right now. Yes, it reminds me of like an FAO Schwartz because I know all the sections and I get like excited.
Now back to your coffee though, the thing I'm going to say about it is it's a little bit like taking pot brownies before everything was legalized and you knew what was in them, where it was Russian roulette.
Yeah.
You don't really know what brownie you're going to get the brownie with like 100 milligrams of THC or 1.
Yeah.
Because Erewhon's like a single batch from this mountain.
Ecuadorian.
It could have like
often.
6x the caffeine you're expecting.
But that's the gamble.
That's the fun
That's
of it.
the ride.
I think one time we went on Postmates and went to Erewhon and was creating the most expensive smoothie we could. Like
sure.
just we didn't order it, but we just wanted to see like what could you get to? Because there's all these add-ons you can do.
Yeah.
And I think we got to like $43.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
So I'm gonna say of the many people I've researched, over 800 at this point, I've never gone to the early life and not one word about the parents.
Oh, really?
Are you parentless?
No.
Oh, thank
Oh my God, not at
goodness.
all.
I'm so relieved.
No.
Cherry Hill, New Jersey?
Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Which is, I would, of course, when I think of New Jersey, I immediately go, oh, it's going to be a suburb of New York. But no, a suburb of Philadelphia.
Suburb of Philadelphia. And I don't know how much time you've spent in New Jersey. We get kind of like a weird rap.
Yeah, tell me.
Because I think most people associate us, and this is very much like in our blood, they kind of like associate us with the Sopranos or with the Jersey Shore. And that element is like definitely there. But I couldn't wait to get out of New Jersey when I was growing up there. And now as an adult, I realized what a special place there's like something in the water there.
Yeah,
it's very spooky and mystical.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of like big emotions there. And we have like the Pine Barrens, but then we also have the ocean.
What's the Pine Barrens?
The Pine Barrens is like where the Jersey Devil allegedly lives.
The
The Pine
Jersey
Barrens,
Devil.
it's in The Sopranos. It's where
they go kill people
they
there.
they take the Russian there and then they get lost.
Yes.
A lot of schools in New Jersey like take you there to teach you about like just like the land you're on. You go through these swamps and bogs and it's like really legitimately like sort of like the forest and Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
Where like he can choose one of the two roads and he's like the spooky one.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But it's really cool.
Okay, so what did mom and dad do?
My mom works, she's a banker, and then my dad works in like IT stuff. Like he handles like tech for like small businesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Siblings?
Younger brother,
A younger brother. How much younger?
7 years.
Oh,
7 years.
I have an eight
Yeah.
year gap with the younger
Were you
brother as
cruel
well.
to him like Monica was to her Neil?
I think I was in the early on, but now he's because 7 years is like you're sort of like you're two different generations. And
You
like,
were an only child.
I was an
think.
only right,
most
and
importantly.
yeah. But he is one of my favorite people in the entire universe.
Okay, he grew into someone
He's
new.
just fabulous.
He
Yeah,
is.
he's a really fabulous guy.
Do you think he benefited from having an older sister? As I've seen many boys who had older sisters turned out better.
Maybe. I mean, he's like a golden human being, but I don't know how much I had to do with that.
You should take him.
Yeah,
Good deal.
you're allowed to take
Yeah,
credit. I
don't be
do.
afraid. The big fun turn in your life happens at Long Lake Camp.
Wow, you guys dove
or the
deep.
Art.
Yeah.
And now this is an East Coast thing. Monica and I are always perplexed by anytime we interview someone from the East Coast, like camp life is like
Are you West
it's
Coast?
standard. No, Detroit,
Detroit.
Atlanta.
And I'm from the South.
So many of my cousins, I grew up going to like Kennesaw
Oh,
for
sure.
Christmas and yeah.
Wow.
What's
cousins
Kennesaw?
are
What's the vibe there?
It's a little more rural there,
Yes.
I would
Oh.
say.
Yeah. Marietta too.
Marietta. That's more
Mhm.
suburban, like
Yeah.
where I grew up.
Yeah.
Did they introduce you to any weird country shit when you were there?
No, not that I can recall, but I do. I just like love the accents down there.
Yeah.
They're like a warm bath.
Yeah. But were they setting fires and stuff more? Like
No, there was no fires getting.
no ATVs?
No ATVs. You have an
Oh.
ATV out there,
Several. Very well
Where do you
stocked with
ride them?
ATVs. All over the country.
but not around LA.
Yeah, we have the best sand dunes in the world outside of Dubai and the Middle East are in Glamis, California on the border of Mexico. 400
Whoa.
square miles of sand dunes, huge sand dunes.
Whoa.
But no, he doesn't drive it down like Los Feliz
Yeah, that's what I was
Boulevard.
I
picturing.
just did the
You
RS1
did
last
not.
week. Yeah, because I just got back from getting the turbo.
Can you get
tuned.
pulled over? Is it illegal?
Yes, highly illegal. But the city, I don't know if you've noticed, this is happening in New York where everyone rides dirt bikes on the street now with no helmet. They're doing wheelies. Like there's been some movement and everyone's just like, we're just not going to deal with it.
We have like the sort of every now and then at an intersection, like 8 tricked out. Like, I don't even know, they're not motorcycles, but they're not dirt bikes, but they're like
Four-wheelers.
4-wheelers, but then sometimes there's like just one long wheel.
Yeah. They'll take over an intersection and do
And like do like,
donuts
and like kind of like rear up and then they'll disappear.
When you see that, what is your thought? Are you like
and
that's
you're not allowed to use the word horny. That's the only word you're not
You're
allowed to use.
allowed?
Don't worry, that
course.
word doesn't come to mind when I see that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's sort of yes. So do you think it's cool or
I sort of like, I think when I see that, I have like a little bit of like a,
yeah.
it's like that.
There's an eye. There's
Vibe.
okay. You have some pity.
Like you feel bad for the boys trying to be manly.
But I also get it.
This is. I mean,
Like
this
I
is
of
fair.
course get it. You know, whenever I've done like a go-kart somewhere,
Uh-huh.
I feel really like the king of the world.
Yeah.
Yes,
And so I also can imagine what it must be like. I'm a real fan of pedicabs in New York.
Pedicabs, how do they differ?
They're only in Times Square. It's the
Oh.
bicycle with the
Oh,
They're like $10 a minute. It's like a really poor
Oh.
investment, but they let you choose the music and they blast the music and they ride through all the taxis
Sure.
and it's like thrilling.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think obviously that's like a gentler version of riding an ATV through Times Square.
Yeah.
But I do get it. Like it's the loudness that I don't like. It's just only the volume.
It's only the volume. Okay, well, things are moving into the electric space. I just am getting my very first electric dirt bike. It's en route right now. But yes, you've kind of nailed it. Okay, the appeal. Two things. So both my daughters ride motorcycles. The youngest one just recently actually like got into it in the way that you need to get into it. We were riding in the neighborhood and she was like riding next to me and she goes,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, Dad, I get it. What's so cool is you're in total control." And
Yeah.
I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
that is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is like I tell it to do this and it does that.
Yes.
There's that. Then there's also it's a break from the given reality. Like you're on a street, you're supposed to go like this, you'd make a left turn, it's in
Yeah.
a grid, and then you have this thing with suspension. You can drive on the sidewalk and you
Yeah.
can do like this and you can split between the traffic. So it does feel like a superpower as
Yeah.
well. That's a
Well,
part of the appeal.
I've never explored this topic as in depth. It is just the noise that bothers me.
It's just the
It
noise.
is
It's weird.
intrusive.
It's just, and I think
It's
it's
obnoxious.
It's obnoxious, and it's
Yeah.
just because like and yet I live in New York, like I'm surrounded by loud noise, but there's something about that like because everything else I'm like, oh, I would love this.
And it feels probably a little toxic. Like it's a
Yeah,
little
or
aggressive.
something, but-
It's the scary side of maleness, maybe.
You're just like that part of it seems so unnecessary, and it just seems like I don't know, and it like scares dogs and it scares
Yeah.
kids,
Sets
and I'm
off
just
car
like
alarms.
it sets off car alarms.
I know.
But
it
You're
feels
right.
like
Selfish.
it feels selfish. It's like you like this thing so much that you don't care that this is bothering the entire city
Right.
with your noise.
But I rode a moped in Paris once. It was like living inside of a song in a way that I was like, wow, this is so transportative. And I really, and it's like such a precious memory. So I get it, but there was like mopeds aren't loud.
The experience of traveling briskly is just taken for granted. And in a car, you're kind of removed from the sensation. But when you're on two wheels with nothing around you, it's as close as you get to riding a horse somewhere.
Yeah, I bet.
You're very aware of this neat gift we've gotten where we can go places quicker than we would otherwise be able to.
Yeah, I've never ridden on a motorcycle, I think because...
Well, after this interview, we're going to
okay, we're going to
hop on.
We'll take but it would scare me here. And just because of how everyone's like texting and driving.
For sure. Watching movies, smoking
And watching
weed.
movies.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah.
fully.
I see guys watching pornography on the way home, and I just think,
God.
my God, it's that bad.
We've really rotted.
Yeah,
things
I
have
see
really
stuff.
taken a turn.
I have a really good glimpse of this city because of lane splitting and just seeing what everyone's doing in their cars all the time.
Yeah.
And very few people are
Oh.
driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That porn one really got you.
Yeah,
didn't
it did. Well, because it's just like, it hurt my soul a little bit. Of just like, we're
chimpanzees that are in
I know.
mechanized machines.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'd be afraid to ride a motorcycle here, I guess.
Okay, back to Long Lake Camp. So that's kind of a thing we didn't experience. And
Okay.
I'm very envious of it.
I know.
Right?
It sounds
It was
fun.
cool.
How did you end up there?
Something my parents suggested, and I didn't have a lot of friends.
Okay.
And I think it was like their way. I don't know this for a fact, but I think they were like, we're gonna just like make you be social, and I was like bullied a lot during that time of my life. But at camp, I was there with like a lot of other kids that I think were also experiencing that.
Yeah.
And I was like king of camp. It was like run by hippies. And I was only there for I think like 2 weeks or something. But even it became this like beacon where I, for those 2 weeks, was like fully accepted and fully like so confident and like my full strange self.
Yes.
Like
Was it an arts camp?
it was, but they did sports as well, but it
Okay.
was like mostly artsy kids.
Okay, got it.
But
Aw.
like it was just really special.
Well, first of all, I want to know what your explanation is for why that was all happening in
Oh,
the
yeah.
public school. But then also, yes, just to visit someplace and go, oh, okay, so there will be places I will
Yes.
fit in is got to be the most optimistic thing
Actually,
that
I
could happen.
think that is like it's such a helpful thing. It buys you hope. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that like it gave me these like little bursts of confidence too, where I was like, I was deserving of
You'd
like
be valued by
not
other people.
being shoved into a wall or something.
Oh.
Okay, so why wasn't it working?
Well, it actually kind of all happened at the same time. I think I just was, I definitely like had friends, and I was a soccer player, and I was like really, just like a regular kid in a New Jersey suburban elementary school. But I think I just like, I had different pop culture references. I just was kind of like always didn't kind of like totally fit in.
Yeah.
And then I went to this camp for the first year, had this like incredible like awakening where I felt like I was just, king of camp. And the hottest girl at camp that summer was from Venezuela. She was 16 and she shaved her head at camp. And it was like the coolest thing that had ever happened. And the entire camp was like, oh, and she had a nose ring and she was like no makeup. It was like Sinead O'Connor.
Yes.
And so then I got home from those couple weeks and I shaved my head.
Rob.
What? Oh, yeah, you have it. Okay, you have it. So you do.
Wow.
Okay. So I shaved my head.
This is among the cutest photos I've ever seen of a human on planet
it's really
Earth.
cute, but it's very.
And what grade? That you're in middle school, right? So
that's a week into a new middle school.
6th grade.
7th.
That's
where
when it started.
I don't know like a lot of the kids.
I'm stressed.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I think this is really, really sweet and
It's so sweet.
cute.
Yes.
And I like
It's
I've
so
like almost
because you know
hives.
exactly what happened. You know exactly what happened when like that kid walks in the door of a middle school with like 2,000 other kids.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Well, the high school you ultimately graduated from was Cherry Hill East, which implies there was
it's a giant. Yeah, it's
a west.
There's a west.
Right. So
There's
this is like a huge
They're
district.
huge
Area.
districts.
Yeah.
It's a giant sprawling suburb.
Okay, so for the listener who can't see, it's a buzz cut,
Yeah.
and
because
it's
shave
not.
is not.
Yeah, it was a buzz cut because my mom took me, and to my mom's credit and my dad's credit, both of them, I didn't do this myself. I came home and was like, hey, I want this. And they were like, okay. And they were really
It
like.
felt really mean, but I did want to say you can't tell when you say I didn't do this myself.
Yeah, I know, you can't tell. This is also a couple weeks, I think, actually, because picture day is like halfway through the year.
Sure.
Maybe a couple months in.
It had grown out a little bit.
Grown a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But like, it's
I love
you.
you.
Know what makes me so sad about it?
Tell
and
me.
I want our listeners to really think about this.
All of our middle school listeners.
No,
Yeah.
our adult listeners. Like when I see that,
yeah.
and when I know me as a middle schooler,
Yeah.
everyone's just trying to survive middle
Yes.
school
Yeah.
and make it through without getting shoved in a locker.
Yes.
That I know, and this is so regrettable and sad, that if this sweet, sweet child walked in, I would I was like, I can't be friends.
Oh, it absolutely.
I would, and I'm saying that very, very with heartbreak.
No, and I know that because
They're doing something you're afraid to do in a way that's scary just to be around it.
And I like, I mean, you can see like I my eyes are like I was like
So
a tender, you know,
Yeah,
just
you're
like,
a little
yeah.
Bambi.
Yeah.
Now, here's what's deeply unfair about the world. So I, too, in 7th grade, I had a mohawk.
Okay. See, I think
But
that's
because
cool.
I'm a boy,
Yeah.
and it was so not what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, sure.
Girls were like, oh, this guy is so confident. Like in a man or a boy,
Yeah.
that kind of bravery, quote, bravery,
Right.
was rewarded.
It's like,
Yes.
he's bad. Like, that's cool.
And that's unfair. But I'm promising you right now, I
Yeah.
would have 100% been friends with you.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. I would have been drawn to this like a moth to a flame. I would have seen what you were up to, and I was doing a similar thing, and I
No
would have
one
been
did.
like, all right, I'm going to pass you notes in class,
Yeah.
and we're going to get through this.
Well, it was such a 180 of like feeling so good for those few weeks over the summer, and then coming in and, you know, like I was like silent for months. I was like afraid to talk.
You were reminded of the other world you had to
but like
occupy.
tenfold, because at least before I had long hair,
Yeah.
I like could kind of blend, you know, and I of course was aware of like the social situation too of that age. It does feel like Lord of the Flies. Where you're like, oh, well, if you think I'm stupid, look over there. You know,
But
like
it's
I
so
get it.
sad that that's how humans
I know.
are.
Yeah.
But-
I love her. And this,
I know.
this,
I do
this, this
too.
picture made me so happy when I saw it.
Yeah.
And you should have been absolutely rewarded. You should have been, you
know.
should have skyrocketed
I
to number
agree.
one status.
Yeah, I really did not. not. I'll tell you. I just, what's the opposite of skyrocketing? Plummeting to the Mariana Trench.
Was it girls who were mainly
Both.
It was both.
That was the other thing. Well, I think a lot of people thought that all the boys thought I was a young boy. So they would like truly like throw me into like a wall and then be like, oh, like there was a
you
lot.
have girl
it
parts.
was like it was both sides. It was I truly was a unifier in terms of people.
You got to
picking
experience
on me.
what, unfortunately, the smallest boy in a class experiences, which is
Yes.
any kid trying to earn his stripes
Yeah.
is going to shove him randomly.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Did it ever straighten out? Did it level off? Did you find a sweet spot in your
So
schooling?
the way that it leveled off was that the only kids that were nice to me were the drama kids. There were like a couple girls in the middle school theater department, which like, oh my God, what I wouldn't give for like the footage of the plays that we did. But they were like, you can hang with us. And I started going to these, rehearsals and drama classes. And I was like, oh, I love this.
Yeah.
This is like, I can have fun and disappear probably. And like, also these kids are nice to me.
Yes.
And it was like a version of camp.
You're right. There was a little tiny safe space.
In the cafeteria where we would rehearse after school, it was that I felt like this grand relief and that I could like giggle again. And like, it just was a respite.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was like a really actually fortuitous way to like find myself in acting.
Wow.
Famously stable industry.
Yeah.
Full
Yeah.
of mentally well
Where
people.
success will heal all those wounds magically. And then you went to NYU
Yes.
right out of high school?
Right out of high school.
Okay, now you share this in common with Cristin. I think she left, maybe you left a little earlier than her.
I left like halfway through my sophomore year.
To go do theater?
No, just to like take a leap.
Get the fuck out
I was
of
like,
there.
get me out of here.
Yeah, what didn't you enjoy about it? You said it was, I wrote down some quote you said about it. Wildly unhappy.
Well,
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, what have I said? Sometimes interviews make me really nervous because
they do.
things are read back to me. And I'm like, I don't feel that way anymore. And it's very strange to
Get
sort of
locked
like
into.
adhere to, and also who cares? No one's thinking about it that much, but it's just like sometimes like an odd sensation to be like, oh God, I did? Huh? When did I say that?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it would be easy for people that read interviews to think the answer that was given was one that was well thought out.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I'm obliged to answer this in some way immediately.
Yes.
And so I'm going to do my best at it.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
not necessarily your walking opinion of
Totally.
anything.
It's me like trying to figure something out in the
Yeah.
moment or like, whatever. And then
Also, you can evolve.
And
The
you can
way you
evolve
think about
and-
things changes. That's
totally. But yeah, wildly unhappy. I wasn't wrong.
Okay, you
to
nailed
say
that one.
In this
Stand
one,
by
I'd say
it.
it's actually like pretty accurate. I knew that I was like accruing debt. And I was in a musical theater program, which
Oh, you did music.
I
You were
did-
at Tisch?
I was at Tisch. I was in Cap 21, which was like
Oh,
the musical theater program.
That's Cristin as well.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
I don't know what her experience was, but I think like I found myself realizing that like I was doing some stuff every day that I thought was cool, like tap dancing class. But then I would be like in the middle of tap dancing and I'd be like, I'm going into debt.
To learn
And
to
like,
tap dance.
I'm never going to tap dance. I'm not good at this.
Right.
Like, I love this as like an experience, but like, I'm not going to be in anything goes. Like, I'm not going to be,
Yeah.
and then we would do scenes from Chekhov. This sounds like so theater student-y, but I was like, oh, I love this.
Oh, okay.
And then they'd be like, well, that was the 20 minutes we gave to Chekhov. So now we go to, like ballet. And I get what they were doing, but I felt like a square peg in a round hole a little bit.
Were you lonely?
Going to New York, even though that's where I've like wanted to live always, and I will never not live there, I think was like overwhelming for an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And I think I also like wasn't a great student, and I didn't understand that NYU is like a liberal arts program. So you have to take like regular classes.
Right.
I thought it was a conservatory.
Sure.
So like imagine my surprise. Also like, why didn't I research that? But I wanted to be an actor in New York, and I showed up and they were like, okay, you have tap dancing class on Thursday, and then on Friday you have to study like French history. And I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't want to do that. And they were like, well, that's the program. And I was
Yeah.
like, huh, interesting.
Right.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you're going to
So I
take
think-
some biology.
So I think
and-
that was
Yeah.
part of it too. And I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was. And so then I I left.
Were mom and dad at all disappointed or scared or?
They were really supportive. They were definitely like, listen, you've made this decision. We totally get it. We support it, but you have to now go support yourself.
Last question on that.
Yeah.
Is it also possible that you had an expectation or a fantasy that it was going to be like camp? Like you were going to
Maybe.
land in your
Quite possibly.
group and be seen, and then you got
Yeah.
there and it was like, no, I'm lonely here.
I think that like, you know, music has always been a huge part of my life and I love musical theater so much, but I think I didn't quite like fit into that world. Like the one musical I have done, or I've done a couple musicals, but they've all been like not, they're not,
Conventional.
yeah, they're not like Thoroughly Modern Millie. And I say
Yeah.
that as a huge fan of Thoroughly Modern Millie. They're different. I sound
Right.
different. I like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I also just felt like I was in the wrong place.
Yeah, I don't know how to say what you're saying without it being a pejorative, but yes, there's a kind of type of musical theater performer. It's a very specific kind
Yeah.
of thing that works really well.
Right. Which I also love.
Like Fiona Apple's not going to be.
And that's my girl.
That's right. Okay,
She's my number one girl. Yeah.
and they're not, by the way, going to end up on Sopranos,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Okay, so yes, in 06, a
Mm-hmm.
year, I guess, or shortly after you've left NYU.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can't imagine anything more exciting for a girl from New Jersey to be on Sopranos. Clearly, everyone in your family's watching it.
No, we couldn't afford HBO. So I had never seen it. I
Oh.
just watched The Sopranos for the first time 2 years ago. It was wasted on me. But thank God.
No,
Best show
yeah, it
ever
might-
with the best performance by
That-
an actor of all time.
Like I had resisted it because I was like, it can't live up to
Right.
the expectations of being the greatest show of all time. It is the greatest show of all time. And thank God I didn't
No.
know. Because for me, I just was like, whoa. Like I knew who they were. I was
Yeah.
obviously, but the most exciting part of that experience for me was that Steve Buscemi directed it.
Oh, we did.
And I'm a huge Coen Brothers. I grew up watching the Coen Brothers films with my dad. We would watch a lot of movies together, him and I, and certainly like movies that I probably like shouldn't have been seeing.
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what I mean?
No, that's how it should be.
Yeah. And so I was like a huge Steve Buscemi fan.
Mhm.
And that was actually like the part that I would like start shaking.
Yeah. Did you see him in the studio? Are you watching the studio?
Yes.
Buscemi.
Yeah, he's
his
so wonderful.
cameo
But
is
he's
great.
wonderful in everything.
He is.
And he was so kind to me. You
He
know?
was.
Oh
How
my
old
God.
were you?
19.
Okay, 19. It was your first job?
Yeah.
First time on TV in Sopranos.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like really not knowing what
Missing
I
it.
was missing. Like missing it.
No, not
Completely.
missing
I
it.
knew it was like a big deal intellectually where I was like, I see the posters on this show on buses.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I know, of course, who all these people are.
Yeah.
Like this is,
If
wow.
you cared, you wouldn't have booked it. At
I
that
think-
age, when you walk in, you're brand new and you're
Right.
obsessed with the thing,
yeah.
it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I
I
could have
just
never
think-
gotten.
Yeah,
I watched a clip of it today.
you did.
Of you
I'm
on
not good on it.
Yeah, you are. You're really good.
When I watched it, when that came up, I'd also kind of, not that I had forgotten that I was on it.
Oh, right. Now, when
But
you were
when I was
watching
rewatching
it,
it, like that episode started, and I was like, "Wait, why have I seen that before?"
Oh
and then I
my
was like,
God.
"Oh my God, I'm about to like appear on the screen." And it took me a second, and then I appear, and I'm so young, and I'm such a little baby, and I'm like holding that cigarette, and I'm yelling my lines like I'm in a theater. Like, it was
Yes,
just
but it
like,
worked.
Oh my God,
What do you play?
I'm like a mob boss's
Gangsters.
daughter, but like
Ironically. no.
ironically,
know.
yes. But like, I'm
Bookend.
sort of just like, I kind of like pop in. Then later, I show up in a later episode too
You did 3, right?
with a shaved head.
I don't know that.
Your life is
part.
really full circle.
Okay, so I did Sopranos. I didn't work for like a long time, and I did like a bunch of odd jobs, sort of like all over. And then I booked this Martin McDonagh play called The Lieutenant of Inishmore, and I was an understudy in it. It's like how I got my equity card. And in the play, the character has a buzzed head. And they buzzed my hair, and I only went on one time in like an 8-month run.
I was just going to say, as the understudy, couldn't you be like, well, let's wait.
No.
It doesn't take long to buzz my hair.
It's also like the power of a good agent. I think like my agent at the time was like, oh yeah, just
She'll
buzz her.
do whatever.
She'll do it.
Yeah.
And I would have and did. But so then as I was in the middle of that, we filmed a 3rd episode, and I like showed up, and they were like, your hair's gone.
Surprise.
Surprise. When I got to that episode, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, you look, no one knew that you were like his daughter. It's like so random. I'm like in a room with a buzzed head.
Well, they didn't put a wig on you.
They didn't put a wig on me. And I'm like
Okay.
sitting, I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah, I got
on
definitely
like the edge of his bed
Oh.
with the fan, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah. And I was like, wow.
What a delight though for you to later
Yeah.
watch this thing and go like, oh yeah, that's cool. I was in the greatest show ever made.
I was in the greatest show ever made.
You're in like the Godfather of TV.
Kind of sim. But I did a play, also Martin McDonough play, The Pillow Man.
Oh, one of my favorite
And
plays.
I loved it so much. Me and these two other girls kind of played these like ghost type characters.
Yeah, the ones that are in like the
Exactly.
the terrifying part.
Yes, but they
so
like
cool.
she, whatever. She had this whole vision of us, and she was like, "Whoever books these parts is gonna have to shave their head."
Oh.
And I was like, "Sure, I'll say that, but I'm not really
Yeah.
gonna do it."
Yeah.
And then I booked it, and I was like, and me and this other girl were like, "We're
Yeah.
not shaving our head." And we had this huge conversation with the director, and she was so pissed, obviously. But I was like, I'm in college. Like,
Yeah.
this is for one play here.
Yeah. Those parts don't require it.
It was her vision.
In The Lieutenant of Inishmore, it's because she's like militant.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, yeah.
supposed to.
She has like a gun and she's got the aviators and the shaved head and like she's like a, that's
tough
just
bra.
that's
was-
artistic liberty.
It was, but I also was like, oh, I don't know how. Am I going to be able to do this as an actor? Like, I can't
Yeah.
even. I'm not even willing to do this.
Yeah.
And we didn't. We ended up not doing like bald caps and
Oh,
hats.
boy,
and all
I bet that
kinds
looked
of
great.
stuff.
You don't love getting scared? Theater? Well, because, but you've seen great theater.
I mean, I think
You haven't seen many straight plays. You get
those
dragged
ones I
in.
have the least
What?
favorite.
When theater is great, for me, there's nothing like it. But when it's bad, there's nothing like it.
Yes.
And I think
I
it's tough.
feel like it's like fish, like people who love fish.
Yeah,
And
sure.
they're like, no, you got to get the right. There's
Yeah.
the possibility of failure is so high.
Yeah.
With fish
Uh-huh.
and with theater.
Yeah.
And then you're really there. Anyways,
Yeah.
I respect it. My issue is, are we pretending we're seeing this, or are we acknowledging there's people in front of us doing it?
Interesting.
I can't get into the paradigm of it.
I've never thought about it that way.
I went to Lion King with an ex-girlfriend's family
Yeah.
in Seattle, and everyone was so delighted. And I was like, I'm confused. Is everyone is everyone buying into the animals are talking and
Yeah.
they're not in front of us? Or are they going, what a cool production. It's so beautiful. And look what the humans can do live. That would be one way to view it. And I'm caught between, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do.
That's I really find that so fascinating. I would think that if you were watching the animated version too, where you're like, am I supposed to believe these Zazu's real?
Exactly.
But like you're not just
Yeah, why is a movie better?
Because the movie is very removed and it has this
Yeah.
filter over it, which is the screen. And so, yes, I can buy into, like, I'm watching Godfather and I can believe this world exists. It's not, I can't touch it.
Do you know what I want? I wonder, or I don't know. I'm just like trying this on.
You'll get quoted later that this was your permanent opinion
Yeah,
on
like
this.
this is not necessarily how I'll feel in a week.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
I kind of like in theater, and obviously, like I can't reiterate enough, when it's bad, there's nothing like it in terms of a torturous experience. And I'm someone who's also been in some awful plays. And when you are in an awful play and you can like hear the seats going up as people leave, you can just feel it. And it's like, oh my God, it is just excruciating.
It's why you do it, though, because those are the stakes.
Those are the stakes.
If it didn't
Yeah.
have that,
Yeah.
then when it
Yeah, yeah,
works,
yeah.
it wouldn't have
It's
the
woo.
elation. Yeah.
But I kind of feel sometimes the way when theater is great, it reminds me of, like, I'm a very avid concert goer. I see everything.
Yeah.
And it's like I think
And you cry through most performances.
I do cry a lot.
Yeah.
Like
When you
it's
saw
just-
Joni Mitchell, you
Yes.
cried for 3 hours.
I cried for 3 hours. Wow, you
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Where did I share that? Okay. I'm like, oh God. Yeah, it's really emotional. And I think it like reminds me of a place of worship
Yes.
where I can like be in communion with an experience that can only that is so individual to that one moment in time with the people who I'm seated next to and the people who are also like communing things.
Yeah.
And I wasn't raised with any organized religion, and I have wondered if that's like what that at its best is supposed to offer.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is like that there are things moving through us that are bigger than us that unite us. And I think when theater is good, my own like heart and memory and life is in communion with strangers and with strangers in a dark room.
And the interplay.
Like we've gone to pray or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that's like, I'm
totally.
being so like
lofty.
No,
but
lofty as
but it's
hell.
good.
It's right.
It's cool to like
But
to
I think,
believe that.
and I think that's like maybe sometimes easier to do with a concert, especially because like that music is something you listen to in private moments. That's like what makes those things so gorgeous and emotional. But you're feeling it.
You know, when I saw that got me was the Fleetwood Mac one, Stereo.
Isn't that beautiful?
What was it called?
Stereophonic. Beautiful.
That was fucking radical.
You begin to feel like a fly on the wall. You know what? I also like, I get what you mean that like I can see maybe I have like just because I've been inside of them too.
Yes.
And I just really like theater as an art form. I am really being lofty.
No, you're not.
Stop self-policing yourself.
Yeah.
Be who you are.
Okay.
Yeah. You're loved and
but-
you're valued and you're at camp. So don't
But
worry.
like, I do think that the fly on the wallness is also what I like about theater. You can feel like you're in the experience with them.
Again, if it's really good, it's like the difference when we do this show in person, like
Sure.
the people in it, right? Like if somebody was a live show versus if they are watching it on YouTube or when we did Zoom interviews, like that
Yeah.
was still great, but like the electricity that's
Yeah.
happening between people, you can't feel.
Yeah.
Okay, now I talked way too long to you about theater, but one of the things that I guess, because 6 you're in Sopranos, and then without discrediting anything, it seems like the next moment for you is Once.
Yeah.
You were in it for 2 years,
I was in it for a year and a half.
a year and a half. Is that kind of a record? Like people generally.
because sometimes people are in things for like 5 years.
Oh, really?
10 years.
Oh.
It's definitely, I think I think a year it was like a year and a half when all was said and done between like doing it out of town, doing it downtown, and then doing it on Broadway.
Right.
I think I performed it like over 500 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you got nominated for a Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's so thrilling.
Mm-hmm.
And you won a Grammy for it?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, that's so exciting.
You
Yeah.
might get an EGOT.
And then
This
and
is so exciting.
you're halfway there. When you,
Yeah.
and then you are on Glenn Hansard's album.
Yes, I was.
Okay,
Forgot
so
about
he
that.
was on an episode of Parenthood.
Okay.
He came and recorded at the Luncheonette, which was a studio we had in this fake world. And what a sweet
Yeah.
dude to spend a week with.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you
and
love him?
He was lovely. And that
Yeah.
music is so like,
Oh.
I'd
Heartbreaking.
never seen the movie before I did the musical. And and that music is like,
Intentionally?
at that point I hadn't seen it and then it became intentional.
Okay.
Like I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to just do my own thing. And the play was different in a lot of ways. But getting to sing that music like night after night, it was a really magical experience.
Yeah, what a great. Well, I wish I would have seen that.
Yeah.
Okay, then now we go to TV, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
You play Mother on How I Met Your Mother. Yep.
Big reveal.
Another show I'd never seen.
Oh.
I'm in that camp with you. I hadn't seen it.
I loved it.
I had never seen it. I am glad that I hadn't. I don't think I understood.
The weight of
I
the
didn't
mother.
understand the weight. Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't. So tell me. Yeah, the show's called that, and I guess I'm learning today if you appeared on season 8 and then 9, and you played
I'm in
Mother.
it for like 6 episodes.
Yeah. The whole series is leading up to who is the mother. The premise of the show is he's telling his kids about how he met their mother. And he goes back in time at the beginning of his story to tell it. And like, so you don't know throughout the whole series who the mother is. And new people are coming in and out, new girlfriends, and it's like, oh, maybe it's probably Robin, the best friend,
Right.
or it's this, or it's this. And then turns out it's not.
Yeah.
It's Cristin.
Cristin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you didn't know.
She comes in at the
With
end.
a shaved head.
I burst through the wall like the Kool-Aid man, and I go, "Oh yeah!" and then the show ends.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, wow.
That's stressful. I'm glad you didn't know.
Yes,
Because
I
that
know.
is stressful because I bet, and you'll tell us, people had strong reactions to that.
They did. They surely did. And I am pretty good about like staying very far away from the internet
Smart.
because I think it's like not a good place for a
Not a
human
healthy
brain to
space.
be.
Agree.
You know, and I think so. I also like was pretty good at like sheltering myself from that as well. But yeah, I definitely didn't understand the weight.
Yeah, because people are like, what? We
Yeah.
don't even know her. Like,
Yeah.
we've been here
It's
for
a very
8
famously
seasons.
contested finale.
Okay, now this is where I become aware of you is Fargo.
Oh yeah,
Betsy.
yeah,
Betsy?
Betsy.
Yeah.
Betsy
she has
Salverson.
cancer
Yep.
and she's Papa Ted's daughter.
I love Ted Danson.
What a man. You racked up pretty quickly some pretty significant co-stars. 'Cause you also did Wolf of Wall Street in
Yes. Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow,
like being
yeah.
opposite Leo is, I
Do you
don't
get
know.
nervous?
I do. I still do. Like I did then and I do now.
Okay.
I get nervous with like any job. I think I
Right.
go immediately to a place of like, I'm going to fail or something.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah. But I was certainly so nervous on that set. I mean, that was such a huge set.
It's a great test of an actor, I think.
Yeah.
Like if you can be in scenes with Leo and you're just as captivating.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's a tall order. Like you have to understand what that means. Like people need to think about it a little bit. Like you're playing one-on-one with Jordan. Like this person is going to be riveting.
Yeah.
That's why they're who they are, and
Yeah.
you're going to have to carry your side
Oh,
of
I've
it.
never thought about it like that. That's very kind of you.
But it's
Yeah.
true.
It can also be a help because if they're that good,
He's an extraordinary actor.
then
Yeah.
you can sometimes get like carried into their bubble. I
I've
think
been
and
carried
let
into
them.
people's bubbles.
Yeah, that experience was so. I think I wish I'd been like less afraid in the beginning.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd
yeah.
never been on something that big.
Yeah.
And then like a sort of just by way of the energy of those sets, and you know, you're working with people who are like at the top of their game.
They already work together.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's actually like quite intimate,
Ah.
and it was like just like not normal, but like normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was like the first 2 weeks. I mean, I was not in my body,
Yeah.
not even remotely.
When we talk about missing The Sopranos, I mean, that's probably what you really missed. Like being able to be like, wow, I'm really doing it because you're so
I'm with
nervous.
one of the best
But
directors
you know
to ever
what?
live, and
Yes,
with
I
one
mean
of the
that's
best actors
it's
to ever
wild.
live.
It's very wild to be in those situations.
It can be a disassociated experience.
It can be, but then it's also like very, you know, obviously this is like a huge understatement. It's so profound, and it continues to be profound when I find myself in spaces with people whose work meant so much to me growing up.
Yeah.
It's like every time I am so shocked.
Yeah. Now we're just going to zip through. So Fargo, you were great. I loved you in
Thanks.
Fargo.
I love that show very much.
Okay. Palm Springs.
Yeah, love that as well.
Okay. Then the next show I watched was Made for Love.
Oh, you watched it?
I did.
Okay.
I loved it.
Not everyone did. I have such a warm spot for that show, especially because like I think the cast is so outrageous. So much of what we explored in that show is like now reality.
Yeah, right.
In a way that is like
You had an
so-
implant in you.
Yes.
From a tech billionaire.
I was like
husband.
married to like an Elon Musk.
Yes.
Yeah. And it like really examined that whole thing, as well as having like a very complicated father-daughter relationship with the like astonishing Ray Romano. There was so much in there. And you know, it's just sitting in a vault.
Why?
We were part of the tax write-off that Warner Brothers did. Like where, remember they ripped a bunch of stuff off the platform.
Oh, they did? And just counted it as a loss
As
or
a
something?
loss. And so
Which, oh my God.
it was like us, Westworld. That was like the whole Coyote Acme. What is that movie? That like got also canceled, and like Batgirl. We were like part of that sort of. So you can't even watch it.
Oh no.
You're kidding.
You cannot watch it.
Can you not watch Westworld?
I think you can finally watch Westworld, but maybe. But I know you can't find Made for Love.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's such a bummer.
Okay, so I'm a little bit aware of this strategy. I used to work for General Motors.
Okay.
And so they have a fleet of cars that they loan to journalists so they can review them.
Oh.
And then this fleet of cars, when it's done being lent out, they can't really sell it because it would be a liability. It's been driven on racetracks.
Okay.
Blah, blah. I used to drive these cars to the crusher.
They just crush
Like
them.
brand new Corvette ZR1s. I was 16. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, how do I get this car
Oh
not
God,
to
we're
be crushed?
so.
But yeah, they would
I
crush it because
know.
then it's a total write-off. I don't know
Yeah.
if they still do this, but that's what they used to do. But yes, it's a complete write-off of the full value of the car. And now the car, it doesn't exist. So,
Yeah.
So I didn't realize they could do that with movies and
Yeah,
TV shows.
I mean it was a huge.
Oh, That's heartbreaking.
it's
Someone makes your
heartbreaking.
fucking work vanish.
Well, yeah, and we worked on that show for 3 years.
Wow.
Like, you know, there's it's 2 full seasons.
That's the most you'd ever been given, clearly, right? I mean, that show is you.
It's I'm really
and
up
you're
there.
going through a ton.
I'm going through a ton. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a real I just had never seen like a world like that either.
Mhm.
There's so much that exists in that hub
Yeah.
where it's all virtual reality. They just were exploring stuff, and there's also stuff on it that is just such a big swing. Like all the I don't know if you watched season 2. There's a character that has an affair with a dolphin.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
wow.
Uh-huh.
Like there's
yeah.
like it's really out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I loved it.
It's going there too. That's where our tech's going to go. It's like AI is
Yes.
going to let us talk to dolphins. People are going to
Yes.
fall in love with dolphins.
This
and
is
vice
like what it
versa.
was exploring.
We've done more content on dolphin,
Oh,
human
yeah.
dolphin affairs than
Oh,
any
yeah.
other show in
Yeah,
history.
we talk a
obsessed
lot
with it.
about dolphin love.
Yeah.
We've got a whole conclusion.
Well, then you're gonna want to petition to get
Yeah,
Free
this
for
is
Love back on the air.
upsetting.
we decided the only ethical version is a male dolphin is allowed to date a female human.
Huh.
You did.
I don't
I'm not
trust
fully
a
on board
male
with that.
human.
Oh, I certainly don't
that
trust a
the
male-
female
no.
dolphin's in love.
I don't.
But a dolphin male is going to decide whether they are
I
intimate.
don't like the collab.
You don't.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I would just prefer to
Separate.
keep it.
Think of the laugh you and your dolphin husband will have in 20 years when you're listening back to this interview.
We had
God.
a armchair listener write
Yeah.
in and tell us about his experience where he fell in love with this dolphin at an aquarium.
They had like a moment more than he.
Yeah, but he was like, it was real. Like it was I like knew this dolphin.
Wow.
It knew me. We had a real connection. And I like he didn't seem crazy. Like I really believed him.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I can't totally get behind
The
like
sex part.
Yeah, obviously. I understand that, like, you know, I don't know, like, I even feel that with like my dog, where I'm like, oh, we're
There's
really
an
connected.
intimate
And like, you were found on the street.
Yeah.
And like, that's wild.
do you think maybe you knew your dog before?
I don't know.
No, I'm really asking. I'm starting to really take on that theory.
Yeah.
That like we've like known some of us.
I do believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's real. You don't.
Well,
It's okay. You don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to, but
I'm happy for you and love that you're open to astrology and you're open to that notion. That makes life more fun and interesting.
it's not
Yeah.
even
I'm almost
about-
envious.
It's not necessarily lovers. It's like the dog where you're just like, I've known
Yeah.
this is not the first time.
Totally. I actually can totally see. It's just like how people find each other.
Yeah.
Like, how do you find each other on this big planet?
Yeah.
And it would make sense to be like, oh, we've
Something.
met before, or
Yeah.
we've, because I don't think there's like enough. Wow, I'm really going to go out on a limb here. Like atoms to go around. Isn't there like a whole thing
That's
with like
the quote. We're gonna
atoms and
pull.
molecules that like you can't get rid of them?
Yeah, energy
Right,
can't
So
be
they
created or
keep.
destroyed.
So like we've shared atoms anyway.
Sure. They're forming and reforming. Yeah.
I can't tell if you're glazing over.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I have kids, and I can get there is the closest thing I can experience spirituality is through the children.
Yeah.
In that, I very much agree with the very common cliche, which is like when you have kids, it feels like they've existed forever,
Sure. Yes.
and that very much feels like there's no way that these 2 little girls didn't
Yeah.
always exist.
they also
Yeah.
kind of did. They lived in their mom that lived in the
Yeah.
grandma that lived in like
Yeah.
there's some real
It's very cool.
it's cool. There's some
I
spiritual
don't, and,
stuff
and
going
I'm
on.
I'm coming to embrace that notion of like you think of it as so split between my father and I, but there's no split.
Mhm.
It like has the illusion of a boundary,
Yeah.
his body and my body,
Right.
but they're so the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm open to that
Yeah.
part.
But not open to astrology.
Not at all. No,
Yeah.
No,
Where do you
that's-
land on
that's hogwash.
astrology?
Where do I land on astrology? I sort of like can understand that like the time of year we're born can affect us.
Mhm.
Like I can like wrap my brain around that. I don't put a ton of stock in it.
That's fair.
But I also sometimes like will read about like traits of like I'm a Leo,
okay.
and I'll read like the trait of being a Leo, and I'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, that's me.
Nailed it.
Like, nailed it.
Yeah.
And in a way, I think that sometimes makes me feel less judgmental
Uh-huh.
or something
yourself.
of myself.
Yeah, forgiving.
Yeah,
That's
where
a
I'm
great
like,
quality.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's very
I am-
Leo to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, when I read the Capricorn description, I'm like, yeah, that's spot on.
Yeah.
But I also think if I read any description you told me it was mine, I
Yes,
would
you
find
can completely
No.
do that.
Yours
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so spot on. You're like a triple cap,
What are you?
a Virgo, and I'm double Virgo.
Yeah.
So, and it adds stop laughing. It's so important.
I know. But sometimes I love those conversations
These are
too.
just
Like
I'm
the
going to write
amount
an
of times.
unauthorized biography of you, and there's going to be chapters. One's going to be The Pit.
Oh, have you watched The Pit?
I haven't watched The Pit, but I keep hearing about The Pit.
It's great.
Okay. I'm going to bring up the resort simply because I just want to say William Jackson Harper is like the
Aw.
sweetest
I love
boy
him
alive.
so much. You know, we've played husband and wife twice.
You have?
Yes, in a play,
Hey.
which I don't know if you would have seen. We have played a married couple on the brink of divorce twice.
Ooh.
And he's one of my favorite people on the planet.
Yes.
One of my favorite actors.
Yes.
I
he's brilliant.
love working with him. And
America will know him as Chidi.
yes,
if you watched
he's
The
just
Good Place.
he is I just love him.
Okay, alas, we have landed at the Penguin. So, how did you get this role? No. Yes. I also want to hear the Wicked audition story, which
Sure,
is so
sure.
fantastic.
They reached out to me and asked if I wanted to sit if I would meet with Lauren LaFranc, our showrunner, Matt Reeves, and who did the movie, Craig Zobel, who directed our first 3 episodes. And they sent me just the first episode, and I like sat with them on Zoom for, I don't know, 2 hours, because I'm a huge Batman fan.
Oh, you
Okay.
are?
Yeah, huge. And so
How would we define huge? You have
huge
posters, you have outfits.
as a kid, I had posters and outfits.
Okay. Oh,
I was like a real disciple of Batman Returns.
Oh, no. Were you
Batman
in your
really-
cape while you had your shaved head?
A cape would have really made it.
You put a bow
Would
on
have
it.
put a bow on it. Yeah, no, I didn't have a cape then.
But Batman really attracts outcasts.
I think when I look back on like why would I have loved that so much as a kid? Not that I want to like analyze it too much. Because I also loved like Beetlejuice. I really loved like big worlds.
Yes.
And that Tim Burton Batman Returns is like you're like inside of a painting.
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer is, it is truly like I'll show everyone who's ever bullied me.
Yeah.
Like that is kind of the vibe
But
of
like
Batman.
Superman's the jock in high school.
Right.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like you're gorgeous. There's no but
Yeah.
Batman is like it's almost like Will Hunting too. He is an outcast, but he has superpowers and he's got all this wealth.
Wait, what's Will Hunting?
Good Will Hunting.
Never seen it. Sorry.
You gotta
I
go.
think we gotta end this.
You gotta
Yeah,
go.
I think,
Sorry, I can't continue on.
Never seen it, but I've seen like a couple scenes where they're like, "Who did this problem on the board?"
Oh no.
Our notion is that like we're different, but we're special.
Yeah,
It's a very appealing.
yeah.
Right? We're different, but we're special. It's
Yeah.
a great archetype.
I'm like not terribly familiar with Marvel, like the Marvel universe,
yeah.
but I think that there's like a real like good versus evil
Mm-hmm.
in the way that Superman is, and in
Yeah.
Batman, it's like really blurry.
Mhm.
Because he's going out. Yes, he's like on the right side. Like Batman himself is on the right side of like justice, but he's also like going out dressed in a costume. He's so traumatized, and he's like looking to put himself in these dangerous situations to like right a wrong that was done to him. And so are the villains. And I just think it's always like a world that, because none of them have superpowers,
Yeah.
interestingly, like with your
Uh-huh.
relationship to theater,
Yes.
like I wish I could fly, like, and I would love to. And I think it's so cool.
Yes. But now we're in a completely different reality. Batman's seemingly could exist in reality.
Yes.
And so could Iron Man seemingly.
It's like why I think, oh my God, like get ready for this. But like, I think X-Men,
Yeah.
I was always like, yeah. Cause I was like, I could see you could fill someone with an exoskeleton
Oh,
or like there was like
right.
something around it. Not that I like need to be like 100% believing something, but yeah, Batman seemed like it could happen. We're living in a world run by villains. It feels like sometimes right now. And like, they may not have capes or like specific
Layers.
Yeah,
Although some
layers.
have
Although I think they all
Yeah,
do have layers.
they kind of have layers.
They do have layers. But yeah, it seemed like real.
Yeah. And did you have to read at any point for them?
Yeah, I had a test with Colin.
You did.
I did.
And was he in the full garb?
He was not. Yeah, and it was just like we read a scene together. The scene where in the first episode where we have lunch
Okay.
and martinis, and like it's this long sit down, and I was incredibly nervous. And then I found out a couple days later.
But he's a sweetheart too, right? He was probably helpful.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah.
Sweetest.
Very Irish.
I've really lucked out with like co-stars of mine have all been like really golden hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's lucky.
And he is an extraordinary actor and like an extraordinary human being.
First time you saw him in the suit, the penguin character.
It was surreal. It was at a camera test. I mean, that makeup is so incredible.
Oh my
but like I'd watched the movie, so I also it was sort of like, oh, the guy from the movie.
Right.
Even though
I
it's
didn't see the movie.
You didn't see the movie?
No.
It's great.
Is it great?
It's really, really great.
Who's our Batman?
Robert Pattinson. I love his interpretation because he really, I mean, I think he really like leans into the blurring of the line between someone who's like so damaged going out looking to feel
hurt
things.
themselves.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
to
like
feel.
it's a great movie. It's so good.
Hearing that like description of Batman, which I think is right, I'm really surprised you aren't more into Batman.
I do love Batman. And there's no reason I haven't seen the recent one other than my kids probably wouldn't have watched it at the time. And I get to see very
how old are
few
your
movies.
kids?
10 and 12. And
it's dark.
Yeah.
This is the other thing I think Matt did so brilliantly. It's like if Burton is very like heightened and sort of like that. You're almost like in an Art Deco something. Matt's film, like it feels like it's right now.
Yeah.
It's very,
darker
very real.
than Nolan. Because Nolan went dark too. Those Nolan ones
went
are
dark too.
fucking
No, I would say they're
great.
like of a world.
Okay.
They're different, but yeah, they both feel like you're in New York current day.
Yeah, and you're scared. Okay, so you play Sofia Falcone, and you're the daughter of mob boss Carmine. You have spent 10 years in Arkham. What is
Arkham.
it? Arkham.
Yeah.
You're in there for 10 years. You're tortured.
I'm 10 years. Yes.
And you've got a pretty sizable axe to grind.
Yes, I have a sizable axe to
understandably.
grind. Yeah. Wrongfully imprisoned.
Okay, and I hate to have to always, and if I were you, I would kind of be annoyed by this because we're always talking, you got to talk about Colin every time we talk about this, which is, I think, in a weird way, unfair to you, right? Like, I don't know that Colin has to talk about you every interview he
Right,
does.
sure.
So that part feels unfair. But I'm going to bring him up only to say, A, he's insanely talented.
Yeah.
He is one of the greats.
Yeah.
And he has the benefit of this enormous artifice, this huge prosthetic everything. Okay, so it's a very attention-grabbing scene partner you have. But I want to say this is what it is. It's such a testament to you. You don't have nearly that amount of stuff to work with, and you're blasting him in scenes. Like, you're just so fucking powerful and terrifying and subtle and playing opposite. And I
mean,
think
you're the one everyone has been talking about since the
very
show
kind of
came
you.
out. I mean,
Yeah,
even though he's him, like everyone's talking about your performance.
That's very kind.
And I just think it's harder because you're like, you're up against a force of nature in a huge costume, and you're just fucking blasting and
sweet.
scaring all of us. And it's so impressive. Would you be afraid to say you're proud? Are you proud of that?
I am proud of it.
Good.
I feel like I am proud of so many of the things I've been in, and which is different than being like, I did a good job or whatever. Like, I think whenever I've watched things I've done, I've been like, I would have done that differently. Now, like all that, you can tinker with it forever, but I'm certainly very, very proud of that experience and of that character. I love that character so much.
And I think it's it's like a real two-hander in a sense.
I know.
And I also, the upside is 12 years ago, it would have been the son of Carmine.
Yes.
This show would have been about the son of Carmine.
Yeah. One of the other things I'm really proud of with this show, and this is a real testament to our showrunner, Lauren, is that I think I've had a lot of interactions with people about Sofia, and it's with people who would not usually be part of the demo of like watching a show that's like in the Batman universe.
Like the old woman at the
Yes, like an older woman, actually women.
Just say women.
That's been like really profound. And I think it is because of like, she is such an outsider. And she does this thing. She's been very hurt.
Yeah.
And
we like that.
Yeah. And then she like lets everybody have it. And I think there's like a real escapism, and obviously because you understand what she's been through, but like to see her absolutely annihilate everyone who's ever wronged her, and that she's in this world that keeps telling her that she's crazy and that she's, not worth anything. And so I think like that has reached a lot of people and which is like very profound.
It's very of the moment.
Or that you're in a weird sub-dom relationship with the
with the doctor.
Yeah,
I know. Isn't that why? That's such an odd.
Twisted,
You know what? I also
and I kind of love it.
I know. I did too. I think it like the show has like a lot of really like even Colin and I don't know how you would like I haven't seen a relationship like that. Like our characters are so there's like a real chemistry there, but like what is that chemistry? We are like it's like the only other person in
Can feel each other's pain.
Yes, and like knows how to like twist the knife, but I don't know like how you would categorize the chemistry of those two characters.
Yeah, they should get married.
Well, yeah, because that
Don't
is
think
what
so.
like the most intimate partner does have that ability,
Right.
To know your
But
weaknesses.
it feels
and
like
use it.
familial
Yeah.
too with the two of them, or like it's like kindred spirits is how I
Yeah.
would describe it.
Yeah,
like,
just two
You
very wounded
probably
people.
knew each
Yeah.
other in another life.
Well, I agree. Yeah, sure.
I mean, I guess we're
Oz was
circling
probably
back
your
There's
to
dog.
that that's with the doctor too. That's like I'm like, how do you quantify? I thought Lauren did that so beautifully. There's like these relationships where you're like, what is this?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and not in a way where you're like, oh, and this is this and this is that.
Yeah.
It's like
ambiguous.
It's ambiguous.
There'll be season 2, right?
We don't know.
How could you not know? It's a
That's
big
wild.
hit.
I would love.
What are they waiting for?
I don't know.
Wasn't it a huge hit?
You got to get on
Yeah.
the phone.
Oh, I'm going to call somebody.
Yeah. We all, not that shoot wasn't a challenge. I mean, it's like the middle of winter in New York, all nights. It's like really
All
intense
nights.
material. But I gotta say, and maybe this was, it was such a golden experience. Like our crew was incredible. The cast was incredible. Like, from people who would come in for a day to like recurring actor, like it just was really, we all really loved it and like believed in it.
Must have taken a long time to shoot because it looks
A really long time.
impeccable.
Well, we also were shut down with the strikes for the 6 months in between. So it was like, I think it was 8 months total or something. So it was like 4 months, then 6 months off, then 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
For 8 episodes. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Or maybe like 7 months, 6 months, something in there. But yeah, long.
Yeah, I just love it because, again, I'm not a big into superheroes. This is like a mob show to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does this really, it's like a mixture of both, which I really like. Because then there are these moments where you're like, oh my God, I'm in Gotham, it's Batman.
Right.
Like, that's like what I loved about a lot of the Arkham stuff.
Yeah.
Is that it was like, for me as like a fan, I was like, oh my God, the uniform. Like, oh my God, we're back. Like this is like, and some of the other characters in Arkham in the comics like go on to be other villains. And so you're like, oh my God, this is
it's
like
a breeding ground.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Okay, you got nominated for a Golden Globe.
Yeah.
You got nominated for a SAG Award. You got nominated for Critics' Choice Award. And then when do they nominate Emmy people?
I think I don't soon, I think.
Soon. Okay, will you please tell us this Wicked story is so funny. I think.
Oh God.
You don't have to.
I mean,
You
no,
don't
I
have
will.
to.
I just feel like I've told it so many
Okay,
times.
then you don't have to.
No, but
You don't
I
have to.
Now I want to know. So now I
basically
gotta
it just
know.
was, it was, you've auditioned. It's like, there's nothing more embarrassing.
Oh, it's
There's
it's really something.
It's really something. And
Yeah.
it is just, and sometimes you go in on these things that like, you can't, like I knew I couldn't hit that note.
Right. So she
It's
had
like
to
a
do
big,
the,
you
do you know
audition for.
Wicked?
Yeah, the movie and the play.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the play? You
no,
auditioned
the,
for?
mo- the, the
movie.
John
The
Chu
movie.
movie
Yeah.
Oh,
for
wow.
Alphaba. So
And
she's
yes.
got
Okay.
You got to hit this, the like,
Sure.
the one, the very,
do
the
it,
big
do it,
one.
do it, do it.
I can't do it. I refuse. It was like that riff at the end when she ascends and transcends
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And like I knew there was no way I was going to hit it, but you have to say yes to the opportunity. And
Exactly.
then
Absolutely.
it just was like an
And
utter.
did you start working with a vocal coach or anything to try to get yourself?
I think this was like deep in COVID.
Okay.
So like, no.
And was it on
That's a short
Zoom
answer.
No,
No.
it was in person.
for John?
Yeah, who was so lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh God. And is it one of those like you're in the waiting room with?
hmm
Yeah.
You're like hearing
Oh, people fucking
People
break
crush it.
glass.
Yeah.
break glass and you're like,
Shit's
breaking.
uh-oh. Yeah. Like,
This is a nightmare.
I spent so many years auditioning for musicals before once. And like once was such a, like I said, like sort of matched the way I sing.
Yep.
But before that, I would be in these waiting rooms, for years, like going in on these big musicals and just like hearing through the door people like
Kristen Chenoweth.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
but like that type of voice. And then I would go in and I'd be like, I'm singing,
A Bob Dylan song.
yeah, I would sing "Oh Darling" by the Beatles.
Oh my gosh, how
Yeah.
sweet.
I used to sing "Carbon Monoxide" by Regina Spektor. Do you know that
I
song?
don't know that one.
I know her. I don't know if I know that
It's
one.
it to me sounded musical theatery, but it's about like killing yourself.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
sure.
And I would go in because I was like, oh, I can give them like a journey or something. And so
Yeah.
like I would be hearing, glass breaking from behind the door. And then I would come in and I'd be like, I will be singing Carbon Monoxide by Regina Spektor. And like you would just sort of slowly see them
Yeah.
like, but I tried.
Yeah.
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 see,
And it eventually worked.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
It did.
Yeah.
work.
I've heard her tell it. She's just haunted by the for weeks.
For weeks. That's all I could think about. Because I know it so well.
And she goes in and she said the noise that came out.
Tight.
Tight.
Vocally tight.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shaking as you
Like
get
if
in
you
there.
like just go through any YouTube compilation of like national anthems gone wrong.
yeah.
And it's like that. Like
said
when they try to get to like and the rocket, like when but they've started it too high. It was like
oh
that.
God.
And yeah,
They
do
start
you know
at
what I
the very
mean?
top of the
Yeah,
range.
when you can hear in a national anthem when someone's like, "Oh, say," and you're like, "No, no, 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 no,
It's
no,
all-
oh no, 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 you're not gonna get there. You're not gonna get there."
Yeah.
And it's that. It's like I knew there was no world in which
Did you start? Were you like, can I start over?
Mhm.
And it was again and again.
Oh, I'm so
just like
proud of you for putting yourself through that.
Yeah, you gotta.
You got
You gotta keep doing it. I remember I auditioned a bunch of times for girls.
Oh,
Oh, okay. That New York actor.
I
yeah.
could see. Yeah.
Yes. And every 23-year-old girl in New York City was like, gunning for that incredible show.
Yeah.
And I auditioned a couple times for it. And then I remember watching it and I was like, oh my God, I was way off tone wise.
Oh.
Like I thought it was like, I don't know what I thought it was.
Sex in the City.
I just saw Sex and the City for the first time. I had
okay.
also not seen Sex and the
Oh,
City until
wow.
recently.
Okay.
Another one of the greatest shows ever made.
It's such
Who
a
knew?
good show.
God, what was I doing? No, I like look back. I was like, remember going back and thinking about my audition, and I think I was playing it like a real like, well, what are you? We're like 4 gals in New York, and I watched it and I was like, oh my God, Kristen.
Flappery.
Yeah, I guess, which was like
Like a
totally
20s
not what it
actress.
is, or just like 4 girls in New York, just like trying to get around or whatever.
Oh,
And then I watched it and I was like, oh my God, I really missed the.
Yeah, it's a
the mark.
Sundance movie.
Yeah, like no
Yeah.
wonder.
I have to say, I'm impressed that you went in for Wicked at this stage in your career, knowing like this is going to be hard for me, because I think so many actors and
Yeah.
actresses, once they hit a certain level, are not like, you got to. They're like, I can't, and I don't want to embarrass myself. And now the stakes
things
are
are
like
going
high.
well enough.
Things are going well.
Like I was like, I can sing a lot of these songs.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
sort of like, you do this like delusional deal making with yourself where you're like, well, and they like, I love that musical so much.
Yeah.
I like knew that was in no way, shape or form a reality, but I was like, I'm going to try.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good for
you know what I mean?
you.
Like,
I
you
think
gotta
that's
try.
great.
Good
I
for
think
you.
that's great.
But it is definitely like a weird, it's such a strange part of our jobs.
Yeah.
And I also sometimes, I don't know if you feel this way, sometimes there's like a comfort in it. Because
Oh.
sometimes, like I'll do jobs where they've just offered it to me, which is like so, very blessed to be in that position. But then you show up and you're like, hope you like what I've been working on. I remember there was a, my God, this is so embarrassing. I did an indie film when I was like, probably like 25. And it was like the first time I'd been offered something without having to audition. And this woman had seen me do an episode of 30 Rock that I like, where I play this like really big character. And so she was like, I just want you to, and it was like a small part. It was like 2 or 3 scenes in this movie. And she was like, I just want you to, I'm giving you free reign to like be a character. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is my dream. Like, and for weeks, like with these 3 scenes, I was like, okay, she's going to be, I'm going to come up with she's going to be this like pill-addled sort of like stumbling on heels, like a little bit. I was going for Catherine O'Hara, like crossing the field on Best in Show.
Yeah.
As
yeah,
like
yeah.
this is like
A
what
North
I'm
Star.
gonna, just like, yeah.
Yeah.
I got there and we like did the first scene and I began and she was like, stop. What are you
Who is this?
doing? And I was like, what am I doing?
Like, great
Oh.
Yeah,
question.
I feel like, and like I'd watched like the clips of like Anna Nicole Smith. Like I just like, she was supposed to be this like kind of like party girl that was like always said like a loud thing at a party that was like
Samantha
inappropriate.
type.
Like not even Samantha's like more together. Like just I think like really out of it.
Yeah.
But I'd really missed the mark. And so they like held for a second while she took me aside and she was like, yeah, I don't think you can do that. Can you just like do a Southern accent? And I was like, yes, absolutely. A Southern accent, sure. A region or, like you're so humiliated. And then I was like, yeah, give me like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I like ran to my honey wagon.
I'm going to cry for 4 of the minutes.
Yeah, like I'm going to cry for 4 of them. For a minute, I'm going to just like, try to be like, well, are we doing?
We got to bury the body.
We got to bury the body. And then, and also like, people aren't stupid. So you've also been on it. And it was a group scene. It was a group scene of a dance at like someone's house too, where like my character walks into onto the dance floor to no music, everyone doing that like horrible shuffle. And I walk in to be like, hey, such and such, heard about the thing. And then they were like, cut. So also like everyone else is now going to see me do take 2 with an accent.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So anyway, deeply humbling.
It's a
What an endeavor. Well, this segues perfectly into my last question, which is you're being thoroughly recognized as you deserve, but it's happening 20 years into your career.
Yeah.
Yeah. You turned 40 this year?
Yes.
I guess my question is, do you have gratitude that it was delayed?
Immense.
Yeah, tell me how would 25-year-old you or 30-year-old you have handled?
Yeah, I'm immensely grateful that it's like happened in stages. I've gotten to be a part of things that like I have genuinely believed in and would watch.
Yeah.
And, worked with people and so like, and it's been, like a sort of a long but steady ride. I think when I look at the pressure on people in their early 20s who get recognized in a way that, like, I mean, you've been to award shows. Yeah. They are like really intense.
Oh, yeah.
They're also, there are many things at once. I like, you're seeing people that you haven't seen in a while who are friends and it's like very joyful, but you're being filmed the whole time. You're wearing clothes that you wouldn't wear, that you're not comfortable in, but that you feel fabulous in. Like everything, it's like everything has a dichotomy to it at every step of the way. Yeah. To stand on a red carpet and get your name screamed by 80 people is extremely unnatural. And every time it happens, I walk away being like, oh my God, like I feel like that feeling when like your car goes over a hill.
It feels dangerous a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, and then each time I have to be like, oh yeah, that's like not natural.
Yeah.
That's like not a position you would normally find yourself in.
Yeah, like it's okay to not get used to that.
Yes. And I think that like if I were in those situations when I was younger, it's pressure. I'm so glad that like I got to be in my early 20s in New York, just messing up. And I think I also understand too more in a way that I may not have when I was younger, that like the chaos of it all and the sort of the beauty of it all and the machine of it all. I've like peeked behind some curtains at this point.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make me any less grateful for those curtains.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Back then when it was happening, when you were in all these things, but you weren't necessarily like on the cover of all of these things.
Sure.
Did you have resentment then? Like, were you like, why am I not? I'm in all these things. I'm working all the time.
No, I had that when I was working, I like worked really consistently in like huge off-Broadway, like, Lincoln Center, Playwrights Horizons, New York Theater Workshop, like institutions in New York. And I was broke. I couldn't afford an AC unit. I couldn't afford my cell phone. And I was like, couldn't understand how I was like working
at the highest
level.
But
starving.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling like real frustrated at being like, but I don't know what else to do. And certainly like when I would lose out on certain jobs, like, I would audition in pilot season for, anything from like a sorority sister to dead body in trunk.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't get them.
Yeah.
And I would be like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why isn't this not even happening in like a why aren't I, such and such, but just like what I like, why can't I afford a cell phone?
Right.
Yeah,
and yet I'm getting the validation of like being in all these plays.
Yeah.
So like I am and working with like these incredible people. So that I would say
there's a lot of dissonance.
Yeah. And like that was very frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that I've been able to take the time that I have.
It's like kind of the theme of the year a little bit, like Goggins.
I was about to say, so Walton Goggins.
Yeah, it's very
yes.
Walton Goggins, where it's just like, oh, right. I now remember that this guy's been great for the last 20 years.
Exactly.
And I've been
He's been in
observing-
everything and been great in
yeah.
everything. And
Yeah.
now people are really starting to say his name.
51 years old or
Right.
whatever. He's like, on the cover of everything.
Yeah.
I also forget, I think, like, this is not the first time I've been asked this,
Yeah.
of like, oh, you've been at this for a while. And I think that like part of it, maybe that's like part of like a layer of like the imposter syndrome or something, but I consistently think I've only been at this for a couple years.
Oh, okay.
Like I it's so odd. And then it's only when it's like presented to me.
Yeah. How do you hear that observation?
How do I hear it? I'm so like touched by it. I think it's that thing of like in my head, I always feel like I'm maybe like 27.
Right.
I don't know what
Yeah.
that thing is called. Is that
And
called
that
being
Fargo
alive?
was 4 years ago.
That it was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. Right. That all feels very like fresh still.
Yeah.
And it's like that weird thing. I constantly forget that I'm 39.
Yeah.
Always. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, me? No.
Yeah, wait till you're 50. Well, this has been a delight, and you've so earned all this attention and fanfare. You're just fucking crazy talented.
Thank
so
you.
I'm really happy for
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
happy for that little girl. With
Yeah, I
the
am
straight
too.
head.
I am too.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should go to the Emmys and recreate that exact look.
Yeah.
Maybe even get like reverse Invisaligns. Reject.
so I can-
I know, but
yeah.
now the
All those-
irony, because you do have a ton of status, everyone would be like, oh, she's so cool.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
She's
She
like
gave herself an uneven
She's like
buzz
the
cut.
Venezuelan.
What a
Yeah.
gangster.
I know. I wonder where she is now.
Yeah.
Well, Cristin, delightful meeting you.
So nice to
Yeah,
meet
it's
you
been a
too.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
thank
so much for
All
having
right.
me.
Everyone watch The Penguin if you haven't already. And
Yeah.
We didn't spoil anything, even though I wanted to. I sure hope there weren't any mistakes in that episode, but we'll find out when my mom, Mrs. Monica, comes in and tells us what was wrong. What? Talk to me.
No, nothing.
Off the record, talk to me.
No, everything's great.
Everything's golden.
It's just busy.
Busy. Yeah, you had to not come to a movie last night.
I know. Was it great?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Yeah.
I'm sad about that. It was the right decision. I will say that.
Yeah.
But I do really want to see it. But I'll just see it in the movie theater.
I wonder if you'll see it earlier than that. But yes, you would. Well, let me ask you. No, I can't ask you because then we.
Yeah, we don't want to give it away. But we
Yeah,
have a guest coming up that we are
People are kind of guessing.
whatever.
Okay.
We're so excited about.
Yeah.
And
Slash scared.
has been a long time coming and is a scary one.
It was scary.
And we were invited to see a movie
that
early.
she's in.
We're excited. We were invited to see a project
Yeah.
early. And I
The timing was
But I
great
can-
because my brother and sister-in-law are visiting, and I got to seem like a real shooter. Like, hey, do you want to come to the screen with me?
That's
It's
so
a movie they're
cool.
dying to see. So I
Yeah.
felt like I was so cool.
You're the cool brother.
I felt cool for those 2.5 hours.
Yeah. But I had to miss it because of
Work.
work. And
Brow.
yeah, it's just a busy week. We're heading into the summer.
Have I publicly thanked you already about editing? I mean, I try to occasionally, but
Oh, you don't.
I'm
have
in
to
a
do
wave
that.
right now of really having renewed gratitude,
you.
right? Because I'm editing and it's miserable. Editing's miserable. It's absolutely miserable.
There are days. So yesterday I was going to edit 2.
Uh-huh.
And I was in 1 and I started at 1:30 and I ended at 6. And I was like,
Oh.
I actually like I can't do it.
Right.
I can't do another
Yeah.
one. And I don't think if you haven't edited,
Yeah.
you don't understand that feeling. It's like, well, you could have pushed yourself and you could have, but your brain will shut down.
Well, I'll add too, and do you have this experience? So I'll do these chunks on days off we don't have. I try to do 2 episodes in those days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's like 7-8 hours of editing.
Yeah.
And what happens is for me, I slowly start hating everything I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like, I don't know, towards the end, I'm like, just cut everything.
Just
I don't
let's
want
be
to hear
done.
anyone ever talk again. And so like, you're wondering if the decisions you're making are the same at the end of the episodes they were at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you probably don't have that because you do it so much.
Yeah. I don't have that because there's no end, right?
Right.
Like you're editing a project
I'm doing 12.
You're doing 12.
And there's an end in sight.
There's an end in sight, so I could almost see that being in some ways worse because it's like I gotta be done with this
I haven't
part.
accepted that I have to do this.
Yes.
Yeah, there's still that yeah.
But it is funny that you brought that up and we're talking about it because I'm also, as I warned you on the last fact check, I think, I am PMSing this week.
Of this week. I thought that was next week.
Nope, this week.
Okay, so
The
right now
period will start hopefully on Friday.
Do you have your Nixies?
I have my
got your
Nixies ready to go.
They're laid out like a flat man. They're just stacked up, ready to go.
Wait. Yeah, they're prepped and ready, folded.
They're on deck.
Yeah, but along with the Ziploc baggies.
You gotta have them.
No, I don't want to be on the record saying I don't do that because I don't need it.
I did though.
But it's great for people.
So it
who
was a
do.
very polarizing debate,
Yeah.
and people landed on all sides of it. Some people agreed with me. Most people agreed with you.
What did they agree with you? What did they say?
Like I would be way more embarrassed about undies falling out than tampons, which,
Sure.
some people are like, fuck no, there's much more. But a lot of people were like, yeah, I flow heavier than Monica. Like I can't get away with one.
I understand that. I've heard that as an explanation for why you should use the cup.
If you got a ton of.
Yeah. So anyway.
I would see that as a sign of great health. Just my proclivities.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how I would deal with having a menstrual cycle because my greatest days are like a day, and one just happened where it's like I go number 2.
Oh my God.
And it's so robust.
Of course.
Where I go, I must not have been going the last couple of days. This is like, where did all this come from? I love that.
Yeah.
Or a big booger.
Okay.
Or a big,
Okay. Listen, part of that's though because then you feel better after. Like you feel lighter. That doesn't happen on a period. It's not like you had a heavy flow and now you feel better.
Yeah.
But I will say, so thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah.
I do struggle mentally sometimes with a light flow. Like I'm like, oh I'm done. Like
I'm not
this
healthy.
is a sign of perimenopause. Like I'm definitely in perimenopause. I'm probably like about to hit menopause.
The eggs are out. Now the blood's out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're done now. Like we're heading towards no period. But that's my hypochondriacal inclination. And I don't want that.
So don't reinforce that line of thinking.
Last night, I thought maybe I had also a new disease.
Oh, what new disease?
Because sometimes my foot has like kind of this like this side of my foot here.
Yeah,
right
the
here,
inside.
the inside.
Where your step is.
Has a numbness or like a weird tingly feeling. A weird feeling.
Some kind of neuropathy.
Yeah. So yesterday I was starting to slip into, I think it's.
And you started Googling.
I didn't Google.
Oh.
But I was like, I have ALS.
Oh, that you went straight to neurological disorder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I immediately thought, if I think it, I'll get it. So I can't think it.
That's right. Can't get psychosomatic
But
ALS.
then that's its own thing.
Yeah.
So I put socks on and I ignored it.
Oh, great. That's a ding, ding, ding.
Mm-hmm.
I have entered, and I think this is a real period of life.
Period. Ding, ding, ding.
Period. Pun intended. I've embarked on my slipper phase of my life.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got a pair of like, I just
wow.
like, I was recently feeling there's all these times I want to run out to grab food from the driveway or whatever. And I don't want to put on my tight shoes.
Yes.
Seemed like I was time, and I got a pair of really comfortable slippers. And I'm realizing, this is a whole era of your life. Once you start walking around in slippers.
It's, wow. I'm shook a little bit. Like it is a real indicator of.
It's an end to an era,
age.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm prioritizing my comfort.
Wow.
And I hate bending over to put shoes on, so I can just slide these on. Like it's definitely a harbinger of probably bad things to come, but also I kind of love
Well,
it.
I'm glad you
I played
love it.
volleyball in my slippers.
What?
It hurt my
No,
shoulder.
That's not good for volleyball.
No, but I was in them and they're comfortable. And Dad, can you practice? And then I'm just playing in my slippers.
Yeah, but slippers can be slippery.
They are
So
slippery.
you definitely should not play volleyball, okay?
Okay. And then additionally, as I said, my brother and my sister-in-law are, and she's been in her slipper phase for 7 or 8 years.
Oh, wow. Postmenopause.
Or middle of
Okay.
probably maybe related.
Okay, yeah.
But I realized like, oh, she's really knows how to do it. The second we get home, like anything post lunch,
Uh-huh.
if she gets home, those slippers are on immediately.
So she packs her slippers
She is in
on
the
trips.
full center of her slipper phase. And so I'm finding I'm with her at like 5:30 in the evening.
Uh-huh.
She has her slippers on. I have my shoes on. And she's like, you should already have your slippers on. And I'm like,
She's
I know
teaching you
I'm not fully like I haven't learned the lifestyle all the way yet.
the lifestyle.
I'm not putting them on early enough.
You know, the
But-
lifestyle is swinging.
You know, yeah, that's my lifestyler move
Yeah.
is I wear slippers. I may start wearing them in here on days that we don't have.
Oh,
How
God.
do you feel about
Okay,
that?
I have a question about slippers. Now, your house is tricky because
Yeah.
even though you hate to admit it, it's
Dirty?
large and made of
Oh.
tons of houses, actually.
Okay.
So you have to walk outside to get to places, to
Yeah.
get like to your gym or to whatever.
My garage.
Yes.
This studio.
The studio, exactly. So for me, if a slipper touches the outside,
hmm
it's thrown in the garbage.
That makes sense.
It's a house slipper. It is
Yeah.
meant for inside the house, specifically so that you aren't dragging in stuff.
Yeah, and so you're outing me, but yes, I'll own it. We are a shoes on in the house family.
Yeah,
Some people will think that's disgusting.
sure.
But what's funny is I'm actually having a harder time wrapping my head around. I might want Nashville to be a shoes off house
Whoa.
because I'm thinking there's going to be kids there endlessly, a yard to really play in and get dirty.
Okay.
And do I want this whole brand new house to be filthy outdoor stuff? And then I'm like, we're so not a shoes off people. I can't even, like, what that's challenging to my identity is way bigger than it should be.
Because it's like the white Christmas lights.
It is. It's like snooty and fancy.
Yep.
And what do you take your shoes off? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
why do
Who
you
are
need to
we?
fucking take your shoes off
Yes.
your shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that I'm a
But I
shoes
want
on.
that. I want shoes off in Nashville, and I'm
Wow.
afraid to declare that.
Well, it's
What would
coinciding.
be if when you come over this summer and I say to you, "Hey, shoes by the door," I got to figure out something cute
Yeah,
to
I
say.
think you're gonna need some sort of cute phrase.
Yeah, don't let our shoes get lonely. Put your shoes with them. That needs some work. But what would be your first thought when you heard me say you can't wear your shoes in the house?
If we hadn't had this pre-talk,
yeah,
I would have laughed
yeah,
at
No,
you.
I
Like,
know. Who are you?
Yeah. Well, and then for me, that triggers my own stuff.
He's changing. I don't
Yeah,
know him.
he's changing. I knew it. I knew that
This
as
money would
soon-
infect him and
not his
destroy
money,
him.
this Southern life, like
Oh, you would chalk it up to
a
this is
lot
a
of
Southern
it. Just
thing.
like, oh, he has this extra house now.
so white.
and he's extra white in the South,
Yeah.
and he's hoity-toity in the South. All the people that made me feel brown,
Yes.
now he's like
He's one of them.
one of them. And I thought I knew him, but I don't even know him anymore. And then I would cry.
You're teasing and you're not, and it's true. People just assign whatever previous baggage they had
Mm-hmm.
to any situation. That's the explanation. It's like you've got like a handful of explanations in your life. Me, all
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And then no matter what situation, you're like, oh, it's that thing that I already figured out when I was 12.
No, but not really. It depends on who it is. Like if I go to a random house and they say shoes off, I don't think that. I'm not like, oh, hoity-toity. I don't have that. I'm like, oh, they just don't want dirt. But with you, because I've been around you so many times
And
where
I'm
you wear
filthy.
shoes in your bed. Okay. So the fact
Don't
that
say that, but
well, I've seen it. That I would be like, what?
just to be clear on that,
On top of your bed.
on top. I have on top of my bed, and I very rarely, but there's occasions
I've seen
I've
a
got like my
lot.
cleaner Vans on, and I'm like, I'm not going to put my head at the bottom there at any point.
See,
But-
even
but
this,
it's
even this,
not, I
you're
know.
even getting self-conscious about
And
this,
getting
and you
defensive.
used to not care at all.
I'm changing. I'm becoming.
guess we
I'm
all
becoming an
evolve.
old white man who wears slippers.
With you, I want you to wear slippers outside because it's keeping you still kind of dirty.
Shithead. Yeah, shitbird.
You're not elite.
But I have a friend who's also very famous. So anytime anyone who's really famous does something, I'm quick to associate it with them being so famous. I think that's really normal.
Okay.
Like something's different, and then you go, your brain just quickly catalogs what else is really different about them, and so that might likely be the explanation.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you know your friends are Orthodox Jews, and you're at their house, and they say, "Could you please hang the towel in a?" Just something that's different.
Mm.
And you go, oh, I bet it's about them being Orthodox. It's like anything you don't understand, and then there's this one thing different about them, you're like, oh, that's probably part of being Orthodox.
I guess that's true. I think it's a little different with religions because there are like rules and stuff than
Yeah.
being famous, which is just you're still a person.
But there's also just cultural stuff. Like if something happened in your family house that
Yeah.
was abnormal to me, I would probably go, it's probably because they're Indian.
Oh,
I would think it's from like something that your parents did,
still
It'd
you
be
would-
a high probability guess.
Oh my God.
I think that's different than racism.
It's stereotypes.
Well, it is. I don't understand this custom. This custom wasn't around me where I grew up. And I know that he's from India. This custom must come from India.
Even though I grew up in the United States.
No, this is not your house. I would never
No,
be
I
in
know,
your
at my
house.
parents'
But if I was at your
house.
parents' house
Yeah.
and your dad only ate toast out of a cereal bowl, let's say.
Okay.
I go, so nobody eats toast out of a cereal bowl.
That must be
What
Indian.
could explain it?
Okay.
I bet in India they eat their toast in a cereal bowl. Don't you think that would be like the highest probability guess?
But this is what I am actively against.
You're fighting this, I know.
Yeah,
I'm
that
just-
you just make not you, the royal you, but you. You're calling yourself
Yeah,
out
yeah.
for this.
And not
I
the TV
guess.
show you, which you also talk a lot about now.
That anything a little different is associated with being a different type of a different ethnicity is bad.
Anything. So if I go to a nuclear physicist's house and there's something different, I go, oh, I bet this is something the engineer. I figure out the thing that I don't share in common with them, and I explain the other thing I don't share in common with them as the explanation.
Okay, but how come if my dad is eating toast out of a cereal bowl, you're not saying, oh, it's because he's an engineer?
Okay, so I might, but I'm going probabilistically. I'm first going, well, he's from a totally different country. There's 23 years of his life in a country that I don't know any of the customs on.
God.
And if I said, oh, Ashok, I noticed you're eating your toast out of a cereal bowl. That's unique. Is that an Indian thing? And he would go, no. Then I would go, okay, what's the next thing I know is he and I don't have any overlap
I think
on?
what I would love is let me coach you. Okay. First of all, let's never say, is that an Indian thing?
You think your dad wouldn't like that?
I don't like it.
I know you don't.
And I don't like it on behalf of him.
I know, and I would never say to you, is that an Indian thing?
I don't want you to say it to him.
I
If
know
I
you-
overheard that, you'd get
I'd be in
this.
trouble. I know.
Yeah, you
I
get
know.
this at me.
I know that, and I know that would happen, and I wouldn't do it in front of you. Is it possible though that your dad wouldn't care about that, and that Pari wouldn't care about that?
It's about the very specific phrasing. I guess you could say, first of all, my dad doesn't care about anything. So yes, you could say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, he's
to
not
him.
precious about.
Anything to a maybe detriment. But I think if you were going to say it in a way that I would feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Did you grow up eating
your toast in a cereal bowl? Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen that before.
And so, yeah, I would have phrased it right. Like that would be the correct way to phrase it. But all the other stuff really just happened because it's very logical.
It bums me out. Maybe because I'm in my
know.
luteal phase, but
Well, I understand why it bums you up because that's an inane example of it. And then there's really bad examples of it.
okay, hold on. It's inane to you. It's not inane to me, who's been othered by that my whole life.
It's not inane to you.
So let me-
I think it might be inane to your dad, is my
okay,
hunch.
we can't use him. He is not a good He is
Okay.
not a good measure.
He's not a good man.
Now, he's too
He's a
good of a
very
man.
good
He's
man,
too
yeah.
good, really. Now, how about this? If I was at your house
Yeah.
and you ate your steak with your hand. You like picked up
or
your
a
steak.
potato chip.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, like more like a hamburger. Like
Oh, okay.
you
Yeah,
picked
yeah.
up the steak with two hands and bit into it and ate it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, whoa, I've never seen that. Is that something that happens in trailer parks?
Well, first of all, I don't mind that question.
Okay, what if I asked Aaron?
Yeah, he wouldn't mind either.
You would mind if I saw Aaron
if
do
you
something
said that to Aaron.
and I said, oh, is that like a trailer park thing?
Yes, true. Point received, but would you agree? Trailer park is never used in a positive way. It's only a burn. And you have a gut feeling of any questions about India are implicitly negative. Whereas I don't associate, is that an Indian thing? Is that a trailer park thing? To me, there's a hierarchy of judgment in, is that a trailer park thing or is that an Indian thing?
To
Indian
you,
things is like
because-
a cultural national thing.
Because you know people who were judged for living in trailer parks. I don't.
Right.
So
I know people
actually,
who are very insecure about being,
yes,
from a trailer
it's
park.
the same thing.
But I think for you it is because you're insecure about that, rightly
Right.
so. But I don't think your dad is. Like, I don't think it's an insecurity of your dad's to talk about stuff that was normal in India and different here.
I know,
Is that
but
fair?
you're using him as such a.
I'm hanging a lot on him, but I
I
would also
know.
hang a lot on Pari.
I wouldn't feel comfortable with you being that open with Pari. Like, is that an Indian thing? We don't know him well enough. I don't know his whole relationship
Yeah.
to being Indian. Obviously, he likes talking about it and he's comfortable with
yeah.
it. He's comfortable with it, but these things are complicated.
They are complicated. But it does start with what is your own feeling about the topic being brought up.
It should be the person who's experienced it that gets to dictate it.
Absolutely. Which is why I am conceding and saying I wouldn't ever ask you that.
Oh my God.
And I am making a prediction of how I think your dad would take it, which maybe is right or wrong.
So how do you think Aaron would take it?
I don't think he'd mind.
Okay, but
Yeah.
you would mind.
I would be nervous. Well, not around you.
No, if I said it.
Yeah, if you said it, we're fine.
Oh.
Because Aaron knows you.
Yeah.
And he knows you want the best for him and you don't think poorly of him
No.
or that he's a lowlife.
No. But wouldn't you be like, what the fuck is she doing? You would. And you should. Me knowing your background,
Yeah.
knowing his background, knowing that those things have been used against him, it would be so insensitive for me to be like, hey, is that a trailer park thing? Just because I don't understand it. And that's the different thing about us.
For sure. And also,
Mhm.
there are some stuff you can say about trailer parks. I mean, there's a reality in the world. As I've said before, like the average level of intoxication on a weekday afternoon
Mm-hmm.
in Aaron's trailer park
Mm-hmm.
was much different than the average intoxication rate elsewhere.
Right.
You know, that is also a reality of it. So it's like what you're trying to do is be honest about the world you live in and not hurt people's feelings. And sometimes those things are against one another, if that makes sense.
If you're curious, you can ask it in a way that's not implying that it's something so, like if I saw him eat a steak with two hands,
Yeah.
maybe I'd be like, actually, I mean, I know me, I would just be like, well, that's
This
how
guy,
he eats
he's
it.
a
Like,
caveman. Look at him.
no,
Look at this guy go.
when you do grow up as a minority, everything's different. Like, so you don't have the luxury of being like, oh, that must be different because of this, or that must be, it's like, yeah, it's all different.
Everything's different. Now, let me ask you this though. If you walked into, like, you had your experience of living with other girls a lot as roommates,
Mhm.
and I even went to your old apartment where you had a bunch of female roommates, and like you guys would like cook dinners together sometimes, and there's just all kinds of stuff that's kind of predictable in that scenario.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I'm sure if you walked into a an apartment that 4 dudes lived in.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, oh, wow, X, Y, and Z is different. There's a bong on the table. There's dishes in the sink. Your brain would logically, and rightly so, I think, go, well, this is a much different scenario in here. What's different? And it would be right for you to go like, oh, yeah, this is boys.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's an explanation for
Uh-huh.
it. And I think you would be right and logical to start with what's the biggest difference between you and your 3 roommates and these 4 people. Well, this is 4 dudes and that's 4.
But the difference is that's correct.
Uh-huh.
The toast out of the bowl and the eating the steak with 2 hands are not because of what you're.
We don't know though.
Well,
right?
I do know that that's not an Indian tradition.
Well, I know because it was made up. He doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And either is eating steak with 2 hands. But the whole point is like, wait, because what you're bringing up is something that you really don't you're like, oh, that's new. Seeing
Mm-hmm.
a bong in basically a frat house isn't new. I've
Right,
seen
but
that.
if it's just trashed inside and you're trying to figure out why these people live in a trash place and you and your friends don't, I think it would be right of you, if your life depended on it, to make a prediction of why it's different, to assume it's because they're boys and you're girls.
Listen, I think if you came into my parents' house and they had a picture of Krishna on the wall,
Yeah.
I think you could probably and definitely deduce that that's because they're Indian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think you can see like a bouncy ball in water on the counter and say, oh, that must be Indian too.
For sure. I think what both things are true and absolutely legitimate is A, you should treat people as they're an individual, and the thing that you're experiencing could be their own individual idiosyncraticness.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the fairest way to treat everyone. And that's valid, and I agree. Also, groups of people have patterns, also a reality.
They do. But for the most part, we know those already. Like we've been taught those and told those already. So like, yes, if my mom is making curry. Yeah, you could say to yourself, like it would be reasonable to think, yeah, that's because she's Indian and she grew up eating curry and that's an Indian dish. All of that makes sense. And those are stereotypes, so that's tricky, but it's real. That's real.
Yeah, it's just,
that's normal. I'm fine with that. I'm just not fine with arbitrary, that's different, so it must be because of.
I understand your objection to that.
Okay.
But do you also agree that might be the highest probability explanation just across the board?
No, I don't.
Like, I had to be friends with lots of Jewish people before it went from, I noticed one friend had this thing hanging in his door frame and he touched it every time he went in his house. At first, that was just, oh, John has a thing he's hung up that he touched.
Sure.
Then 4 other Jewish friends along the way who have it. And then I go like, oh, yeah, that's a Jewish thing.
Yes. So I think that's the right train of thought. You see it and you assume that it's actually individual to the person.
It's just John's thing.
Yes. And then over time, when you see a pattern, then over time, you're like, oh, this is cultural. But that's the correct order, not the other way around.
Yeah. Sometimes life's moving really fast and you got like one stab at it.
No, you don't.
And you kind of go the highest probability.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Ashok, I love you.
I love you, Dad.
And everything you do, I love. And if I saw something I didn't understand, I would still love it. I just would be curious if that was his own unique invention or if that's like he's 4th generation of toast in a bowl.
Well, look, here's an interesting. So a lot of Indians they eat with their hands.
Okay.
So they eat like rice with their hands.
And they got the naan going too. They're scooping with some bread. They get their fingers in there.
Yeah, depending. Sometimes there's naan. There's, but sometimes not. Like they're
Just
eating with their hands.
Yeah.
That's a very common way to eat in India. My grandparents did that. That's how they ate.
Well, they did.
Yes, and my dad too, although I haven't seen that in years.
Now, really quick. So when you were over there and you noticed, oh, grandma and grandpa eat with their hands, were you like grandma and grandpa are interesting or were you like, oh, that's got to be an Indian thing?
I mean, I was so little. There's no way for me to
Remember.
know that. So anyway, I guess I would hope that you would have seen it a couple times before you assumed it.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting one because it's true. It's real. That's a cultural difference.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what you're trying to beat out in your head and figure out what, I think your impulse is to like explain stuff. I mean, I think, let's start with like things we agree on. Everyone's impulse is making sense of reality around them.
Yeah.
Like that's just your number one job from the second you wake up. It's like, I came in this room and this is going on. Why is this going on?
Yeah.
I need that,
I think approaching it with like true curiosity that doesn't have any judgment or otherness around it. Like I do think phrasing it as, did you grow up eating toast in a bowl?
Yeah.
Or did you grow up eating with your hands is different than, is that a insert group thing?
Yeah.
Just for anyone who wants to practice.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Look, life is a lot of phrasing.
It's a lot of judgment calls. It's a lot of how you phrase things.
Yes,
and,
it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to be honest about acknowledging what the real process is in my head. Like I'm trying to be honest about the fact that when I see something that I've never seen before, my 100th of a second, right? Like the frontal lobe's not even involved. It went, that's different. What could explain it? What's the other thing I know about us that's different? Maybe that's the explanation. That is like, from almost the moment I see it, that math happens.
Yeah.
And then the frontal lobe goes, well, is that a stereotype? Is that offensive? Is that this? Is it that? And then you hope to land with a high percentage that you were on the right side
Well,
of it.
hopefully you just keep your mouth shut until the second part of your brain has done the other thing.
That's the goal. The space between your emotions and
the
your
initial
actions.
thought. We can't control the initial thought.
That's all I'm trying to cop to.
I have no, there's nothing we can do about our initial thoughts.
Okay, great. I get a little scared that I even like my initial thoughts are offensive and then I'm kind of just a bad, like you think I'm a bad person.
We all do this.
I commit to like working through all the other steps.
Yeah. That's all that's being asked in any of these like racism or stereotypes or any of these things. Like you
In
can't
group,
help
out
your
group.
initial thought. You have it and then you think, is that right?
Yeah.
And that's how you get to having, I think, those thoughts less over time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think when you and I talk about race openly, it's wonderful.
Me too.
Yeah.
We can because there's trust.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully it's good for people to hear because it's hard to find someone you trust to talk about race with because there's a lot of explosive.
It also, again, it's so much of where you come from. It's like Joy grew up with her people.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so she loves to talk about it.
Yeah.
She's happy to engage in it with pretty much anyone, whether or not she's even earned that.
Yeah.
And it's simply, so what you'd be inclined to think is like, there's something predictable about being a minority in this country. Well, no, there's something predictable if you're a minority in this country and you're surrounded by the hegemonic group.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said if you know.
Yeah. But also if she was talking to certain people, I mean, the way Joy talks about it, she's with you, there's like fun and it's funny and stuff.
Yeah.
But she can get very serious about
she's
race.
dead serious
Yeah.
about the inequity.
Exactly. And she is not going to be afraid.
She
to say
likes
it.
to because she's so skilled at
Exactly.
pointing these things out. But yeah, she's never triggered in some inferiority way.
Right.
She's like, oh, you think that's broken. And I can't wait to, there's like, she doesn't seem to,
But I mean,
she
she's
got to
lived a
grow
life
up with
as-
her people.
She did, but she's also lived a life. She went to an Ivy League school. She lived a life where she was around
She did
a lot of white people. Yeah.
She
So
did boarding school.
I'm sure there's elements.
There's
of that.
some complication for sure.
Yeah. I don't
But
think
it
you
just-
can be a minority in this country and not have some level of like.
It is just fun to think
Push and
about
pull.
what your homeostasis would be if you grew up with all Indians in an Indian neighborhood. And what would my homeostasis be like if I was the only white person in all Indians or all black people or whatever? It's just, I think it proves the point that we are always saying, which is like, you're not you're a product of
So many things.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
But real quick,
Yeah.
speaking of cultures,
Yeah.
Callie, Max, and I went to Dantana's, which is an institutional restaurant in Los Angeles.
Which I've talked about a bunch on here because I like to go with Nate.
Yeah.
And what did you think?
I loved it.
You did?
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, I need to know more because what I like about it, as I've told you, is it is time traveling.
It is. It's old school Italian. It has mob energy.
It's super Hollywood 80s.
Yes.
I mean, the steaks are named after famous actors. You got the Debney steak. You got the...
I didn't notice that.
Did you not notice all the...
I didn't look at the
they're known...
meats.
What ones? The
I didn't
meats?
look at the meats.
Oh, you didn't?
No, because it's an Italian place. I'm getting pasta.
Well, they're kind of known for their... what's the thing that people are against eating a cow? It's
Veal.
Veal. And there's like 8 or 10 veals on the menu, but all with different movie stars' names.
Wow.
And famously, James Woods was behind us eating the James Woods.
Oh, that's right. I thought that was at Musso and Frank.
No, that was Dantana's.
Oh, fun.
But you liked it.
I loved it.
Were there any 85-year-old men with 21-year-old women?
Oh, shoot.
Because that's still thriving there, which is so fascinating to see.
I didn't notice, but at some point in the night, a group came in that was dressed like to the nines, looking kind of mob bossy.
Ooh.
And then our server, who obviously had been sort of like a lifetime server there, he was giving us the intel that they come at like 9 or between 9 and 10 every night, and they order the same thing and they get fettuccine for the table.
I love it.
I know. It was really, really fun. And
Did you have a cool cocktail? Because that bar
I had a martini.
might be the coolest bar in all of LA. I mean, more shit has happened at that bar than probably any other bar in LA.
It was so fun. And one bad thing happened. He'll probably be mad at me for sharing this because it was a blunder.
Okay. Thigh guy?
Yeah, that guy Max. He's kind of like you, I think, in a I'm worried things are going to run out.
Oh, sure.
So I guess last time they got a Caesar.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, this is
Wasn't
not
enough.
This
Yeah.
is not enough Caesar. Okay.
Scary. Yeah. I can feel it.
So for his entree, he got double Caesar salad.
Okay.
And Callie and I got individual Caesars as our starters.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring our starters. And I look at this and I think Max is getting 2 of these.
Because it was huge.
It was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had trapped himself because he was like,
Uh-oh.
it is that wasn't the size of it last time. And the Caesar that arrived was so
It's like a large pizza.
it was enormous and piled up so high.
No.
And he couldn't really wait for his, like he was like too hungry. So we had some of mine and some of Callie's before his enormous Caesar arrived.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And then
He really painted himself into a
he
corner.
did, because then he was like, I have to eat it. Like I made this crazy mistake.
Yeah.
And it looks crazy if I don't, like the people are going to be pissed if
No, I love
don't.
that we think that, as if they're thinking at all about
Well,
what
no,
we do.
then our server came because he said, is this the size it was? And he said, yeah, that's always been the size. Yeah, the guy in the back was like 2.
Okay, so they are.
Yeah, they're
they
judging.
Are judging. Okay.
Anyway, he ate pretty much all of it. He had to leave a little bit, but when you factor in the fact that he had some of mine and Callie's, he had more than 2 Caesars.
And what do you have for an entree?
That was his entree.
He didn't go a steak either.
No, he didn't. We got some appetizers, but
Okay. I'm so glad. When was this? Last night?
no, it was
A couple months ago?
Yeah, it was Sunday.
It was Sunday.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was really fun.
Yeah, that's a fun place.
I need to be better at not, like, I want to go back tonight.
Yeah.
And then I want to go back in 5 more days. Like I've been doing that with Sunset Tower. I've been going a little, like a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
And I order an interesting martini. I order one with a lemon twist and an orange twist. Unconventional. I invented it.
Okay.
And so
Never been done.
So when I went last time and I ordered that, he was like, oh yeah, I remember you.
Oh, now he's got you.
Yeah. And he was like, when were you here? Like 2 weeks ago? And I was like, yeah. but really it was like,
5 days ago.
yeah, I had to lie.
Is he a suitor now?
No.
Sounds like he's a suitor.
No, he's not. He's not. He was a nice man, but
Okay.
no. Anywho, I guess that's it. I do have an update. I haven't decided if I'm going to share it, so that's TBD. Keep listening.
Sure.
All right, let's do some facts.
Yes.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
We are supported by Domino's. You know, I have the app.
Me too.
It's not talked about in this ad spot, but I do got to give a shout out to the lava cakes. They're outrageous.
I want it right now.
At long last, Domino's finally has stuffed crust pizza, and not just stuffed crust, Parmesan stuffed crust.
Oh, man. What are you waiting for?
Who doesn't love a little Parmesan? Nobody. That's who. It's hard to believe it's taken them this long to make a stuffed crust pizza, but let me tell you, this was worth the wait. They've taken their buttery flavored handmade pan pizza dough and stuffed it with melty cheese. And if that wasn't enough, they topped it with garlic seasoning and, yes, real Parmesan.
I can taste it.
I love mine smothered with pepperoni.
Ooh.
Oh, the more the better. Okay, all this talk about Domino's has got me hungry, and I think I've got tonight's dinner plans all figured out. Order Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza on the Domino's app and use code DAX to get any 3-topping Parmesan stuffed crust pizza for $11.99. That's code DAX on the Domino's app to try it today. Price is higher in some locations. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Delivery orders subject to local stores' delivery charge.
Okay, facts for Cristin. It's so weird that her name's Cristin. Is it weird for you?
Well, because it's spelled the way it is. There's a lot of leeway in the way where people are spelling Cristin.
I don't think of her as Cristin because of the way it's spelled.
Right.
But then when we were saying her name, I was like, oh, yeah.
It
This
is
is
actually
a dumb story.
No, it's a good one. But Cristin, Cristin.
I know what you mean. I think the same exact thing.
Thanks.
I didn't realize it was even pronounced Cristin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cristin. Now my ex-girlfriend Bree too. She had a very novel spelling of Bree.
Yeah, how'd she spell it?
Still does. Briegh.
Briegh, yeah.
Everyone gets to, do it however they
Parents
like.
get like funky when they're making spellings up.
I know. Yeah, it's an interesting impulse. It's like, I'm going to give them a name that a lot of people have, but I'm going to spell it uniquely.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Callie has that a little bit. She always has to say Callie with a K.
And an I.
Well, so now's
That was a great time to tell you.
actually, yeah, I think
I have stress every time I text you about Callie. I'm like, is it KH? Is it KH?
See, yeah, it's a hard name.
Yeah.
I actually find it very endearing because I think it has to do with your dyslexia.
Okay.
But because you always spell it Kali, and you're so close.
Oh, what do I need?
It's Kalie.
Oh, easy. I can.
But I always think it's funny because you do it, and then I'll respond back with her name, kind of on purpose.
Yeah.
Spelled correctly.
Yes. Try gently tell me.
Yeah.
I made
Like,
a
I
mistake.
think one day he'll see that he's been doing that wrong. And then.
Yes, I was with Callie instead of saying I was with her.
Yeah, Callie said this.
Yeah.
And then you haven't noticed that. But so I guess now the cat's out of the
I think I've
Callie's out of the
noticed it,
bag.
and then I'll remember it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like a month later when I want to text about Callie,
Yeah.
I don't try to go back and find it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this will be the learning moment where I get it, i.e. I can handle that. I have this same issue with Seth's wife, Claire. Every time I seem to write Claire, I pick the wrong one.
How does she?
Well, because you
why?
could go CLAIR or CLARE,
Oh.
and it's one of those two, and I generally get it wrong.
CLARE is unconventional.
That's hers.
That's hers.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's unconventional.
Yeah, and Seth he doesn't do what you do. He's even more direct. He's like, it is, like he corrects
He
me.
gets upset, do you think?
I
Do you
just
think
think
he
he's
gets defensive?
No, I think he's a very like respectful, integrity person, and he wants to correct you if you're not spelling his wife's name right.
Wow. Okay. Two two different coins, I guess,
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm being respectful by not telling you because I don't want to hurt your feelings.
I think they're both valid. They're valid points of view.
Okay. What is interesting about the way people spell names is sometimes the spelling does make me like the name in a way that I didn't previously like it.
Sure.
In fact, Claire being one. I really like the spelling Clare.
That changes it for
Now
you.
I love it.
Yeah. Maybe you'll
Thanks,
name your
Zach.
daughter Claire.
No, it's like we spell Calvin weird.
How do you spell it?
Calvighn.
No, you don't.
No.
That's a lie. That's Robin is his lies.
He tells so many lies. And when I'm watching you, there's so many lies to juggle.
Oh, so yours is
I'm on
swimming
high
in
alert.
deception.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of, when I asked if he's protective, Seth, the guy in you, he's so protective that he has to murder.
Oh, too protective.
Yeah, I could see you like
Yeah.
sliding down that scale a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of want you to watch it to see if you kind of can relate.
We had an expert. He's coming up, and it's really fucked up the whole way I process the world, and I'm frustrated by it, and I know it's the right thing to do. But a guy, we're having an expert on about rage addiction,
Yeah.
and once it's fully framed for you, what's going on in your head and the science behind it, it's a bummer because I do like the right. There's some level of vigilantism I like,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Me too. Look, we all do. We all love the story of like Robin Hood a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But again, this circles back to our other fact check. In reality, no. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Revenge is bad and it's a
Yeah.
poison.
Yeah. And forgiveness is very good for your brain.
Yeah.
It stops this back and forth cycle.
Yes.
It's just the right thing. And I kind of hate it. It's taking the fun out of, like these movies that are just great. It's like you kidnap Liam Neeson's daughter and he's going to fucking kill you. And we love that. That's so clean. You should get killed if you kidnap someone's daughter.
When I was home for Mother's Day, I was watching Dateline, obviously, with my parents because
Yeah.
they just can't get enough of that.
Yeah.
Are
Are they particularly into Keith Morrison the way we are? Or do they not have
no,
preferences?
there's no preference.
Oh wow,
They just
I don't like that.
as
But
much as they can consume, they will. In fact, I probably can't say this, but there was something happen. There's something happening in the family-ish, a good thing, but that my mom was like, "Well, you got to be careful because people can get really crazy," and she like devised this whole plan in her head of how.
someone would get murdered.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It could lead you to believe there's more murders going on than there are.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a man who killed a girl, like a 18-year-old or whatever, who
Yeah.
killed another 18-year-old.
Okay.
Or maybe he was 19 or something, whatever. He killed someone and he's up to get out a lot, but the mom and the sister keep going in and basically making sure he stays in jail.
Yeah.
And I understand. Of course I understand. But there
Yeah.
was a part of me, and I was like, I mean, maybe it's time to let him out.
Yeah.
And I was saying that, and my mom was so disturbed by me saying that. And I was like,
Yeah.
Mom, his brain wasn't even developed. It's not developed till you're 25. And she's like, well, if you were the sister. And I was like, of course. Of
Yeah,
course. If I'm
yeah.
the sister, I
Uh-huh.
want that person to rot in jail.
That's right.
So I get it.
Yeah. But it's been taking the fun out of some normal fantasies I play with.
Yeah,
know?
like having
'Cause I have a lot-
having empathy kind of ruins vigilantism.
Yeah. Just owning what's going on in my brain.
Can you give an example?
Well, I think of all these scenarios all the time. That's what I fantasize about.
Killing?
No, but like protecting.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Forcing someone to apologize. All these just
Yeah.
taking care of everyone and sheriffing.
Right.
And so I have all these bizarre fantasies. And then I just have to now go like, right, so you're hurt or someone else is hurt and your inclination is not to soothe, it's to hurt.
Right.
And that'll somehow erase the hurt. And it doesn't and it won't. And it's less fun, my imagination now. And I'm kind of angry. Kind of like
it's a cycle then.
Yeah, like there's so many things I've had to stop doing on this show. Like be disparaging about BDP people, be disparaging, right? Even the sociopath, we had a sociopath on. I am like, oh, fuck, I kind of feel bad for sociopaths. But I don't like it. I mean, I like it. I think it's good. It's a good direction. But I also...
I've been thinking about this a lot. I think this show has fundamentally made me a fully different person. I was so, yes, that person needs to rot it. Like I would never have ever thought for a second, like, maybe it's time to let that guy out.
Yeah. What's our goal? Do we want to punish or keep people safe?
Yeah. And I think it has to do with the amount of stories we've heard and the amount of people we've gotten to talk to. I wonder who I'd be without it. I didn't know. My mom and brother, we were at dinner and I was doing this about somebody or something. And they were like, ugh, you always see the best in people. Like they were saying it kind of annoyed.
Yeah, like you're naive or...
Yeah, or just like, we know you want to look at that perspective.
Yeah.
But this is what we want to talk about, the bad thing.
Yeah.
And I would never, I am not someone who was born thinking the best of people.
Right.
So that's something new and I'm grateful for it.
So I wouldn't even say mine is that I now think the best of people. It's that I much more understand, or I think I understand, how bad the person had it to begin with that ended them there.
Yes, that
like
some
I still think
things
they're
aren't
bad,
choices.
but I think there's, I think they're, well, not bad in quotes, but.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the lesson. Like, I don't think people are bad. I think you become who you become based on experience and things you can't control.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard after you know that.
Yeah, I feel like I can only be like ethically judgmental of someone that's got the exact same scenario as me. Like I'm free to say, no, you should be doing better with this set of circumstances. But beyond that, I really have no business saying what someone what level they have should have risen to.
Yeah, and that applies to everyone. That applies to the person whose family was hurt. They've been through something that causes them to act the way they act. Anyway, okay, so some facts. What is the Jersey Devil?
What is the Jersey Devil?
In South Jersey and Philadelphia folklore in the U.S., the Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, a legendary creature or cryptid said to inhabit the forests of the Pine Barrens in South Jersey. The creature is often described as flying biped. It
looks kind of cute, actually.
With hooves, but there are many variations.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a smiling reptile, but with ram horns and chicken legs and dragon wings.
Yeah, bat-like wings, it says.
Yeah.
The origin of the legend, though a woman named Leeds was giving birth to her 13th child and exclaimed, "Let the child be the devil." The child, though born normally, immediately grew wings, tail, and claws and flew out of the Pine Barrens.
That's all you got to do is say, let him be the devil, and that you can convert your...
If you're Mrs. Leeds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How much is a pedicab ride in New York-ish? Through Times Square, a short ride within Times Square might cost $15 to $30, while a more extensive tour could range from $40 to $150 per person. It's kind of steep.
Pricey way to get around town.
Yeah, but fast.
Super fast.
Because you get to go in between.
Right.
Record for how long someone was in a Broadway show. The record for the longest time spent by an actor in a single Broadway show is held by George Lee Andrews, who performed The Phantom of the Opera for 23 years.
Oh, my Lord.
From 1987 to 2011.
Whoa.
He performed a total of 9,382 performances.
Oh, my God.
During his tenure, he played multiple roles, including ensemble members and the roles of Monsieur Firmin and Monsieur Andre.
9,000 performances?
Yeah.
I'm like... still so proud of us for 900 episodes, and now I feel like a weakling.
Yeah. And do you think it's one of those things when you've done something so much that if like he forgets a line in his 7,000th performance, he's probably so afraid of dementia.
Oh.
He's like, how could I've been doing this 7,000.
I bet he could most certainly do that role, soup to nuts, and never once be present on stage.
Yeah.
Like it completely in his mind, thinking about other stuff. I'm sure his subconscious could do that performance.
Yeah.
And he's just probably in La La Land for 2 hours.
But he loves the theater.
Or he's addicted to that cheddar.
I don't think that's what he's addicted to.
I think he's
They
addicted
don't
to
make
cheddar.
much money. But that reminds me, sometimes I forget the gate code to your house. And I think every time I forget, I think like, oh, I'm ill. Like something's wrong.
Yeah.
How could I possibly forget this thing I do every day? I then have to look it up.
Sure. Yeah.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah. I get scared like that. Yeah. And that stuff happens to me.
Does it?
Yeah. And now we're being monitored. So it's like I have the thought, it's like I cannot think of a name of someone I know very well.
Yeah.
And then I go, well, I guess the next cognition test we have for our Alzheimer's thing is just going to show that, yes, I am in deep
Decline.
Yes.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's comforting or not comforting that we will find out. I can't decide that. Like normally you'd just be having these thoughts in a vacuum and then you'd probably convince yourself later that you'd be thinking sharp that day and you'd be like, oh no, nothing's going on. But we're going to be told.
Well, unless we don't decline.
Correct.
Which is the goal, is to be doing all these other things.
I mean, we're going to decline.
But not to a scary, hopefully not to a scary level.
Some days it feels like it's happening at a scary pace.
I think it's when it's like gloomy out.
And that's when you...
It's more weather-based. Okay, this Warner Brothers situation where there are shows that are gone.
Yeah.
Is true. And yeah, you can't watch Westworld. I looked on Max today. You can't find, it's not there. You can like go to Amazon Prime and buy it.
You can.
Yeah. But you can't watch it on Max.
That's so weird.
I know. Also, now it's HBO Max again. Did you hear this?
No.
They
Now they've gone back to...
Yes.
By the way, I always said HBO is the crown jewel, not Max. I don't know why they didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, well, I heard it was just some guy's idea who had power, and then they did it, and then obviously it never worked. Like people wouldn't say it right, or
You still
everyone
say
would
it's
just
on HBO.
Yeah, people would say HBO, and so it's HBO Max again. And if we have to re-download that shit, I'm gonna be pissed.
But it would be like Mercedes buying Dodge and then deciding to rename all this Mercedes Dodge. That makes no sense. You
want to stick with your most prestigious name. I know.
Yeah.
Home box office.
I think maybe they got excited that Max sounds like the maximum amount of content.
Well, they didn't want it to just be HBO, obviously, because there's more there.
Right.
But HBO Max seems good to me.
TJ Maxx.
But it was HBO, then HBO Max, then Max, right?
HBO
And now it's
Go.
HBO Go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
John Oliver does a whole bit on the last episode of all the
that's
different
really
names.
funny.
They
are having fun with it, though. They have, like, obviously some, like, Gen Z person running their social media because they're, like, putting funny...
Burning themselves?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. But it's been making me sign in a lot lately, and I wonder if that's related to this name change. It's been challenging.
Probably.
Do we have to download another fucking
That's
app,
what
or
I
are they just going
said.
to update the current
That's
one?
what I was just said.
We're so intolerant. Used to be like you had to catch the show live or you didn't see it. Now it's like,
You have to.
I had to sign in.
I know. Okay, I was gonna play just a teeny clip of her on 30 Rock. She mentions a character she plays that's like wild. And it is wild.
I knew I smelled sausage.
Yes. Abby? I'm Liz.
Liz! Thank you! Oh, our nips just touched. Mine are so hard.
Mine are different sizes.
Okay, that's all I'll play. But yeah, she's a very silly. That 30 Rock is such a fucking good show.
Yeah, it's almost like in some ways underappreciated.
Yeah, there she is.
Oh, yeah. Our nips just touched. Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great show. Tina Fey, one of the great talents of all time.
Okay, I found this weird thing. She said, what's it called when you feel forever 27?
Mm-hmm. That has a name.
So then I looked it up and it said the phenomenon of feeling forever 27 or experiencing a fascination with the idea of never aging beyond a certain age is often connected to the 27 Club, a cultural concept referencing celebrities who died at the age of 27.
Yeah.
The idea, while rooted in tragedy, has also become a symbol of a certain rebellious energy and a desire to hold on to youth.
Live fast and die young.
I guess. Isn't
Who's
that
the list?
weird?
Hendrix, Janis Joplin.
Amy Winehouse, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. Well, we know that Belushi and Chris Farley made it to 33, the age of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not on here.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. We did talk about astrology, so I did real quick
Yeah, of course.
do today's astrology. CoStar is the app I use. Let's see what it says today.
It's my
1 hour
preferred app.
ago. You don't have high standards. You just want someone who, Capricorn, will discreetly tell you if you have food stuck in your teeth.
Wouldn't everyone like that? You'd like that, right?
No, I'll be embarrassed. I do
You'd
want it.
rather have food
No,
stuck
I
in your
don't.
teeth?
I want it, but I don't want it either.
Okay. You don't want the solution to it.
You don't. You don't have high standards. You just want someone who, me, Virgo, reliably uses the correct there.
Oh, sure.
Okay, that
Yeah.
adds up. Wait, Rob, what are you?
Gemini, I think.
Uh-oh.
Rob. Actually, that makes total sense.
Oh, yeah.
That makes total sense that you're a
Yes.
Gemini.
Such a Gemini.
The twins. One's a rascal.
Oh.
Aren't they the twins? I think they are. You don't have high standards. You just want someone who shares the passwords to all of their streaming accounts.
I think people tell me I'm more of a Cancer than a Gemini because I'm running the edge.
Okay. You don't have high standards. You just want someone who can listen without sharing a tangentially related story.
Who can listen without
sharing
it.
tangentially. I don't think so. I don't know many people like that. Kristen's a Cancer. And my
She
mom.
only tells tangential.
Well, but she wants, no. So this is saying she wants to be able to tell you a story and you not go on a tangent
Yeah.
with your own story. Basically everything we do here.
Yeah. And I don't think that's true. I don't know if that's true of Aaron either, but maybe. I'll ask him. I think he likes a tangential story as well.
I'll ask Anna. I'll ask my mom.
There's so many Cancers.
I do have a lot of,
July and August, big birthday months.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Coming up.
That's right around the corner.
All right, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it for Cristin?
Yeah, that's it for Kristen with a C.
All right. Love you.
Love you.